Yeah. It's painfully honest. Yeah. You know the vibes. Welcome to Painfully Honest. Yeah. You know the vibes. It's Painfully Honest. Welcome to Painfully Honest. It's Painfully Honest. Welcome to Painfully Honest.
There are instruments, and then there are storytellers. The piano is one of the few places where emotion lives without explanation, where joy, grief, memory, and truth can exist all at once. 88 keys, but an infinite number of stories. Today's conversation is about what it means to live inside those stories, to translate life into sound, and to create from a place that is honest, rooted, and deeply human. Welcome to the Painfully Honest Podcast. I am your host, Calvin Payne, and today we are honored to be joined by an incredible artist, storyteller, and musician, Lilli Lewis. Welcome to the Painfully Honest Podcast, Lilli Lewis.
Hi, Calvin. Thanks so much for having me.
Welcome, Lilli. Thank you for coming and saying yes to this conversation and spending time with us and playing with us in the sandbox. Thank you so much.
I'm really excited to be here, and you already know this.
Thank you so much. But before we get started, I want to check in with you. How are you creatively, emotionally, mentally, and physically showing up today?
Can I just tell you, I love how you framed that question. Not only, are we getting a comprehensive view, but then you ground it in today, right now.
I appreciate that. Yes.
I've found that in a lot of the internal work that I've done over the years, it's like, what's it like to be you right now ends up being my favorite question. Like just right now. How about
Yes.
now?
Yeah.
Because I went through a lot of years thinking that I was like just depressed all the time.
Yeah.
And then I started keeping track of every hour in the day. It's like, "Ooh, this hour was delightful. This hour was, you know what I mean?" And so
Yes.
I found out that there was variation there. So
Yeah.
right now, I could say that I'm feeling great across the board on all of the things that you mentioned. Creatively, I'm feeling really like deep and within myself in ways that are both light and also, a relief, to be getting
Yes.
back in touch with myself in the way that I am right now.
Mm-hmm.
And, spiritually, I'm feeling super connected. My wife just got back from this retreat in Colorado, and she brought all
Oh.
this wisdom down from the mountain with her.
Ooh,
And
okay.
we've just been kind of reveling in all of that wisdom. In my
Yes.
body, I'm feeling pretty good, which is saying a lot because my body
Mm-hmm.
has been through a lot over the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
But, health-wise, everything's on the up and up.
Okay.
And today's a pretty good day,
That's
as far as that
good.
stuff is concerned. So I love that
Mm.
we're doing this today because I got nothing but love for you, baby.
And that's awesome. And if you weren't, we could always reschedule. It's no problem. But I'm glad that you were able to show up today. Just to dig into a little bit of what you said. You said Liz came back from the mountain and she started to unpack a few things. So you mind sharing like just a few of those things if you don't mind? Because I'm totally my world now is where's my mental health and do I have the capacity?
Well, I'm be honest. For me, my spiritual life and my mental health are in totally different universes
Oh wow.
because my mental health has become very nuts and boltsy because
Okay.
it took a lot of very specific diligence and effort
Mm-hmm.
to recover my mind to a
Okay.
place where I knew I could trust myself with myself.
Got it.
And I respect that process so much
Mm-hmm.
that I no longer have to tie mental health and spiritual health. So
Got
spiritual health is just an upgrade from
it.
having that grounded fundamental
Mhm.
And I know a lot of people don't see it that way. A lot of people are like, oh, we're a spiritual being in a physical body. I'm like,
Yeah.
I am a physical like being living a
Yes.
physical life
Mhm.
with access to as much metaphysical as any given atom, you know what I
That's
mean?
it.
Or any
Yeah.
given electron,
Mhm.
because we
Mhm.
all can. And so to frame it like that, I would say one of the biggest, most fundamental things she came back with, and God did these talks get deep on some things, but one of the fundamental things, there's this guy Mateus, I can't think of his last name,
Okay.
that she just loves to listen to before she goes to bed, and he was speaking at this
Really?
conference, and I think that
Okay.
was the first talk she said, and she said, "Oh," she said he likes to joke a lot, but he was
Yeah.
just like, "All these people, they're so, you know, awake and available to all the, stuff in the universe, and they say they like to honor their ancestors." And he's
Yeah.
just like, "No, you don't, because you came from fish. You came from that first fish that came out of the water that, had the intelligence of the universe to ask it to walk towards the light. And I don't see you honoring the fish. You know, it's like if you want
We went
to
there.
if you want to correct your alignment,
Yeah.
like your breathing and your alchemy, you gotta
Uh-huh.
go back to the beginning, boo. And I was like, oh,
Ooh.
yeah, well done.
So now you done gave me a tip, so I need to go back and do a little research because I did not know that. So I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
all
I
right. Well,
mean,
I guess I need to.
the
Yeah.
philosophy here is that there's infinite wisdom in every atom in the universe, and
Yes.
that the universe is creating itself at all times.
Mm-hmm.
And we are just a part of the creation of the universe, which means that
Yes.
we would contain the same wisdom if we would put ourselves in alignment. And that's and for him, the spiritual and the physical then become one. Like once they're in alignment, that you can
Yeah.
say the spiritual and the physical are one,
Yeah.
because you are making this effort to be in flow with the same alignment that made that single celled organism like lean towards the light,
Yeah.
like know that there was food in the light and approach the light. And because that organism approached the light, indentations in that little organelle formed darkened spaces to make it be able to perceive the light better. And then it's totally behind, yo. Like this literally had me awake. And we just kept building and building and building and then getting more cells and then getting more this and that and that and this and that and this. And
Yeah.
everything we came from is still on this it's all the little organelles and all the little things that like all the little ancient life forms, they're still here with us. And
Yeah.
we came from that. We didn't
Yeah.
just pop out of the sky spontaneously. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, hey,
Yeah.
so
So as far as alignment, what are some things that you suggest as far as alignment? And this is just for myself and the listeners.
well, I'll tell you, personally, I think that alignment must be discovered individually
Got it.
because things get real weird. Things
Mhm.
get real weird and also everybody is born with their own precise journey.
Yes.
There's no, like, I can
I agree.
do what you did because
Mhm.
that's nothing like that. I
It
saw
don't work that
something
way.
on Facebook the other day where somebody explained it like this.
Mhm.
You're trying to get to DC and
Mhm.
everybody tells you to hop on I-95, you know,
Mhm.
or I mean, and from Atlanta, I start on I-85 and then I get, you know what I'm saying? And it's just
Yeah.
like, go north, you'll get there, da 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 da. Da, let's say from
Uh-huh.
Atlanta. But like, you're like, "Okay, okay," and you spin around trying to find time, and then you realize, "Oh, you're in New Orleans. Supposed to
Right.
see not I-85 if you're in New Orleans." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we might all have a similar destination, but we don't
Yeah.
even know if we have the same destination. But let's say
Yeah.
we do. Even
Mhm.
if you have the same destination, you ain't starting from the same place. And
Nope,
so
not at all.
have to discover our own map. So
Mhm.
I might not have suggestions as to how to reach alignment other
Mhm.
than like if this is fairly new talk to you, like I would suggest, and this could be from my time living with the Buddhists or whatever, but I would
Right.
suggest paying attention to how you breathe, like breathing more mindfully, breathe like
Mm.
taking in the wholeness of existence,
Right.
taking in the wholeness of life force, the majesty and the miracle of it.
Mhm.
As often as you can when you just do your in breath. I'm just breathing in. Lord, I just breathe in the whole universe. And then when you breathe out, the breath keeps going all the way around the earth. So everything you
Mhm.
take in is everything that ever
Just
was,
going back
everything we came
yeah.
from, everything you breathe out just never ends. It never stops. And so it's
Mm.
important to know that no matter how disconnected we feel, there is
Mhm.
nothing that can actually create disconnection. You are connected no matter how you
Mhm.
feel. And just like breathe in that awareness, that can be a
Yeah.
nice little starting place.
Yeah. Yeah.
If that's something like even at the smallest degree, or even if it's just 3 minutes a day of just being
Mhm.
aware of that,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that can be a lot. But I think more fundamentally than that, Calvin, we gotta get right with our minds.
Whoo! I
We
tell
gotta
you.
get right with our mind. We cannot, as far as I'm concerned, we can't be open to what spirit has for us if we can't get right with our minds.
I agree.
And
I
if we
totally
do
agree.
try to open ourselves up to it, we gotta find a way to sabotage it
Yeah.
if we
Yeah.
can't get right with our minds.
Because of like learned patterns that we have and then being out of alignment, we're so used to being out of alignment. When we try to pursue that, we don't understand what that even looks like. Because I'm on my journey knowing, trying to figure out what alignment is. But I was gonna say, if we're searching for alignment, we have to find alignment. We will find alignment in our purpose once we're working towards our purpose here on earth. I honestly believe that.
I I think that is only partially true.
Okay.
And I'll say this is because I'm a Gen Xer, or I guess they
Hmm.
call me a Zennial.
Right.
But like I remember when this goes way back for me. Like I
Uh-huh.
remember when I was coming up, there were so many people, like artists,
Yeah.
who were absolutely living their purpose. They were doing what they were born to do,
Right.
and they were still dropping like flies due to overdose. They were
Ooh.
still living in ways that was
Yeah.
causing them bodily harm
Yeah.
and mental disruption, living
Yeah.
and accommodating a lot of chaos because
Mhm.
they thought they had to in the name of their purpose.
Yeah.
And I have to put myself in that category. Like when I say my body has been through a lot in the last couple of years, it's because my kidneys failed a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it
I'm
took
sorry
me
to
off the road, and I knew I was sick before it happened. I knew that something was wrong, and it was my intention to die out there on the road because that was all I ever wanted to do. And I finally had the pieces in place, and I finally had, some coverage in Rolling Stone and NPR, and I was a part of some conversation that made people want to book me. And I had a nice little agent and everything was great. And I was like opening for the Indigo Girls, which was like a lifelong dream.
Yeah.
And I was just willing, and I had fully accepted that I was gonna die doing it because I was living my purpose.
Well,
And, like, luckily, I had a major injury, like, my left ankle popped and did not heal, and I was in so much pain for so long that I reached
mhm.
out to this incredible program here called the Musicians Clinic.
Mm.
And they got me a wheelchair and they set me up with some PT. But my doctor was like, hey, while you're here off the road, let's do some blood work. And we did
Yeah.
the blood work, and she saw that my kidneys were gone. They were gone. And she was like, oh, holy hell, I don't know if this lady's gonna make it to the hospital. And let me tell you the truth.
Oh my
This
god.
happened on a day, like, before I had a booking to have a conversation like this, and it was a very, very lovely payout, let's just put it that way.
Okay then.
And it was like, well, can I just do this virtual gig that I have tomorrow? Can I just do the virtual gig? That's
Yeah.
not the time I'm spending on it. And so here she felt like she was talking to a dead lady walking, and she was like, so I did the thing. Then I went to the hospital, and they were like, "Oh, yeah, you're in trouble," and they gave me all these fluids, and that which probably the last thing they should have done. We found out later, but whatever. Um, and I waited for like 5 days to see a nephrologist, never could see a nephrologist, and I was like, "Well, if I can't see a nephrologist, can I go to my next gig, which is the Big Easy gig, where I can be on the boat with, like, these people like Sarah Levin or Emma Thomas, and, like, can I do that?" They were like, "Sure." It was like, I'm gonna be out for a few days, but I'm gonna die but doc just 4 days into the and I'll go get more blood work as soon as so I did that and got that blood work back, and it had got like 10% worse just when the same resume was down. And
Oh
I
my
was
God.
like, "Is it time to start dialysis? What's next?" And they were like, "No, no." And I was very cognizant of, I could speak well and so it was conversational. So they were like, she got sick enough to start on dialysis. Then they put me on a bunch of meds and suddenly I couldn't walk anymore and I couldn't talk and I felt like I was gonna faint all the time and one night I was in a very compromised situation and Liz just called 911. She was like, "Bump this. I'm not playing no more. Call
Mm-hmm.
911." They got here
Right.
in 4 minutes because we live in the country and the fire truck is right up the street.
Oh
And
wow.
they immediately took me to the hospital. I had to start dialysis. I had to cancel tours with other lifelong heroes. I had to pull out of everything. So this is all to say, even when I was living my purpose, I wasn't living in a purposeful manner. I mean,
Mm,
my
mm,
motto is practice radical decency, and I wasn't being decent with my body at all, you know?
yeah.
And so I think it's possible to be in alignment with your holy work and still not be in alignment with the vessel that's here to do it. And that's why I
Wow.
say we got to get our minds right because we have to have a strong mind to be strong enough to heal our bodies if we have to heal our bodies.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have to have a strong, vulnerable, aware, uh, we got to do all that shadow work. We got to do that so that
Yeah.
whatever comes our way, we can meet it with an open hand. Like I could be honest that this
Mm.
event was the best thing that ever happened to me, but had it happened 10 years earlier, it would have killed me. That's the difference.
Oh,
It happened at a
wow.
time when I was right with my mind, and I was ready to greet the challenge of being right with my body.
So what does that so what changed for you? So as far as your body, so what are and if we get too far and you like I don't feel like comfortable talking about it, just tell me.
I'm
I'm
really
just
open
curious.
book. You're gonna be
I would
sorry.
no, 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 no. Oh, no, no, no. I won't be. I promise you. But because I was thinking, you may not have wanted to talk about this on here, and we were going to talk offline. But I have so many questions because I like just the mindset of I'm just going to down the road. That would have hurt me so bad, Lily. Oh my god.
I was 100% there because you know how long I had wanted that. You know that was the only thing I ever wanted.
Yeah, yeah. Of
I was
course.
born wanting that, and when I got out there, I realized I loved it as much as I thought I would, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And,
Mm-hmm.
um, and
And then
I
working
didn't
all that time to get to that point too.
right, and I was terrified that if I stopped or slowed down in any way, that
Yeah.
was gonna be it, and I wasn't prepared to grieve that, I
Okay.
wasn't
Yeah.
prepared. I was not in the mood, Calvin. I
Yeah.
was not in
I
the
feel
mood,
you.
Mr.
I
Payne.
got you. I got you.
But luckily, the universe said, "Girl, sit your ass down,"
Down.
and, didn't kill me
Yeah.
in the process, It
Yeah.
let me sit
Wow.
instead of die, you know?
Whew, wow,
And it's
wow.
like and it's like maybe we have more work for you. You're trying to
Of course.
burn this out in a couple of years when
Mhm.
I might have a whole lifetime of work for you.
There
What
you
kind of
go.
plan do you think you're on? You have
How
my plan,
how
baby
dare
girl.
you?
You know, why you mess with my property like that? Like,
Right.
okay,
And that's so deep you say that because I don't think of myself in that manner as far as like the health. Like when you're creating and you're creating and you're out there doing things, it's like you don't think about that. Like the craziest thing, I've been excited about this conversation all day. I've not eaten anything at all. I just been like prepping and all this type of stuff. And when you say that, it's like that's not good. That's really, really that's some form of dysfunction when you starve yourself because of some type of excitement. It's like, no, you need to put something in your stomach. So that
yeah,
makes
I
a
get
lot
on
of
to
sense.
people all the time about that because, I
Mhm.
work with there's a lot of passionate people in my circle, even if they're not musicians.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
they would
yeah.
just throw themselves into whatever their work is and they bragging about how they don't eat. And I'm like, that's an endocrine disaster waiting to happen,
Yes, it is.
And I'm like, but look, I do it too
Mhm,
sometimes.
mhm.
And in me, what I've discovered is that there's two things going on. There's an ableist thing in me. There's this thing in
Mhm.
me that wants to prove that I'm strong and I'm able and please hire me
Yeah.
because you can do it. And I don't need you.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
so I know that that's in me and I know that that's a sickness
Okay.
because if you
Yeah.
spend 1 minute in the disabled and accessibility forward community, you learn that no matter what your disability, you are a badass getting through the world, you know? And
Mhm,
anybody who's willing to keep putting themselves out there and meet
mhm,
all the challenges that come with whatever
mhm.
disability they have,
Yeah,
like, yo,
yeah.
I am actually running energetic circles around you, able-bodied person. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah,
I'm
of
actually
course.
running circles around you so you can sit all the way down.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's really the heart of it, but when I get around a bunch of ableist people, which really we're an ableist culture, I
Mhm.
forget that wisdom.
Yeah.
I forget to operate from that wisdom center, especially since, like, when I first got out of the hospital, like, I couldn't walk for months. I had to
Oh,
practice, getting up and down out of a chair for
okay.
months. I had to do PT for, like, over a year, and now I can walk around again, and I can actually do some function, and so I'm sitting here thinking, "I'm at 82%," because 82% for Lilli Lewis is still 147% for most people. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing
Right. That's it.
147% at
Yeah.
80% capacity. But,
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
but, uh, but I'm probably more at like 63. Like I'm not really at 80%. I'm not there.
Yeah.
And I have to remember that I must be gentle with myself,
Must,
and
of course.
I still ain't got no kidneys, baby. Like it is what it is. So there's
Mhm, mhm,
that. And then I think
mhm.
the other thing that goes on for me when I do that is all the fat shaming, that I've
Mm,
lived through because they
yeah,
expect, nobody wants fat people to eat. They certainly don't want you to eat in front of them. But yeah,
so
so if you
ignorant.
grow up a fat lady, you're like, "Oh, should I eat?" And if you can't eat, you don't eat
You think people are
because
watching.
you don't want to carry the shame of just
Yeah.
basic sustenance.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
that's so true.
that is a disaster waiting to happen.
Mhm.
That's a mental arm for how diabetes forms. There's also
Yeah.
like very, very specific
Mhm.
biological reasons why diabetes will form under that kind of stress. But nowadays I have this continuous glucose monitor and I can watch how my glucose responds
Okay.
all like any kind of stressor. I can watch how it goes up during a show. I can watch how it,
Yeah.
where it spikes and why.
Yeah.
And it's really fascinating to have that information. I know a lot of people are getting those Aura rings and some of them are getting
Mhm.
the glucose, monitoring thing.
On the
And I
back of the
think it's just, yeah, exactly. But I think it's just fascinating to have that information about yourself and to know
Mhm.
how your hormones are working for and against you. And
Mhm.
I luckily got the privilege of getting that information because my kidneys failed. It made all of my doctors pay attention in ways that had been dismissed. I had been told flat out, "We can't really help you until something horrible happens." And they kept
Oh
checking
my
my
god.
heart. My heart was fine. I kept not having a stroke, which is what I was most afraid of. Um,
Jesus.
but they were like, "We can't help you till something horrible happens." And then turns out kidneys are the worst of the worst. Didn't know that.
Yeah.
You know, didn't know the kidneys were the worst of the worst. But here we
But
are, you know.
let me ask you this question. So what
Yeah.
what physically happened to you that led to your kidneys failing?
That we don't actually know yet.
Okay, okay,
It was definitely influenced by diabetes that makes your kidneys more vulnerable for a few
okay.
reasons.
Yeah.
And I have had diabetes since before you and I met. So,
Oh,
20
wow.
years in,
Mhm.
my nephrologist is like 20 years in, it's liable to happen.
Yeah, yeah.
But the other thing was that right before lockdown,
COVID.
I went to a conference,
Mhm.
got very sick, had an important show, went to an ENT trying to get some kind of steroid for the very important show,
Mhm.
but she couldn't get me on the books until after that show, so I did that show just hacking it or whatever, but I did it 'cause, ride or
You're a
die for the
trooper.
show, it's all about the show.
Yeah.
Th then she's like, "Baby, you got GERD too, did you know that?" And I was just like, "No." And so she put me on, she's like, "Well, do you eat garlic and onions and turmeric?" And I was like, "Yeah, every day." She's like, "Well, that's why you got GERD." And I was like, "But that stuff's supposed to be good for you." "But you got GERD." "Okay, great, fine."
What is GERD?
GERD is am I gonna get
It's
all
an
the letters
acronym.
right?
It's an acronym, okay.
GERD as an acronym.
Oh, okay, okay, I
It's
got you.
basically like it's basically acid reflux, something like in the family of acid reflux. So
Got
if
it.
you eat too late or da 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 da, all these things can cause
Yeah.
something like that. And I was still singing in the French Quarter, like 4-hour gigs till 3 o'clock in the morning. So I was still singing like a songbird. So I didn't think I had any problems. And
Yeah,
I
and this
didn't
was
have
on
any
fire.
damage. I
I
didn't
said that this
have
was
any
on fire.
damage. Yeah,
You a
yeah,
trooper. I can't
okay.
I can't do it.
Something's going on with me right now. I don't know what it is. So let me not be too arrogant here.
I
But
have to
just
take
about to say
antacids.
you have to take it. Well, she put me on what's it called?
Omeprazole?
Omeprazole? No. Yes.
Yeah,
Omni
well, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
eh,
mhm, that's what I take.
She she put me on okay, now be careful. She put me
Okay.
on that. What I didn't know is that after 52 weeks, no, 72 weeks, it starts to damage your kidneys. And I was
Oh,
on it for three and a
oh,
half years not knowing because I couldn't get another date with her on the books, and by the time it was just like, "Okay, well, I'll just keep taking
it's
this
not
for
okay.
I'll just keep taking it for" what you call that? You know what I mean, just wow, I can't even remember the word right now. I have this thing called dialysis brain where words just go away.
It's okay, it's okay.
No, maintenance. I was just taking it for maintenance. I changed all the things she
Yeah.
said to change, but I thought I would just take it for maintenance. I was on it for 3.5 years, and then my kidneys failed, and it's like, oh, that's more than 72 weeks, and I already had a vulnerable, environment, and so that's the theory because the year before the kidneys failed. My blood work showed that, the doctors were saying that I should have at least another 10 years on these kidneys. I wasn't so
Wow.
terrible.
Mhm.
But it could have also been the sedentary lifestyle of being on the road and just some of that pressure on my kidneys. And at that time, I was at around 420, well, 400 pounds. Like I
Oh,
gained more
wow.
when the kidneys started to fail. So by the time they caught me, I was at 420 and most of it was water. Well, not most of it. but about 65 pounds of it was water weight because my and I'm busy just steady drinking water all the time, not realizing that I'm flooding my whole body because my kidneys can't process it. So by the
Oh,
time they caught me, they thought that I had congestive heart failure because of all the fluid that was around my heart. And then they
yeah.
drained it off and they were like, "Oh, your heart's fine. Your heart's great," you know?
Wow.
So it was wild, but I do think that omeprazole had a lot to do with it
Okay.
just
I will
because
keep
of that
that in mind.
rapid, the rapid decrease of function. So it's a very difficult time. My mother had a couple of strokes and ended up in the hospital with kidney failure at the same time, and I couldn't be there for her. We were like in the hospital at the same time, and she would not let them put her on dialysis. And so she was gone within 3 months. And
Oh,
I was determined, you know, not to walk that path
yeah.
because out of disrespect for my wife.
Yeah.
I did not want to terrify her that way. I did not want to
Right.
bring all that pain to her if I could help it. And also because I very much wanted to have a different story than my mom's.
Hmm.
Um, and so again, best thing that could have happened to me.
I'm just so glad you made another choice. I'm so glad. But then that tells me too, because I am a diabetic as well. And so I have to, make sure I'm getting my mind ready to start so that I can start eating right and exercising and doing the whole nine. I have not been on, what did you call you omeprazole or omeprazole, whatever you.
Omeprazole, yeah,
Yeah, I haven't been on that. I used to go to Walmart and buy it, and it would give you
yeah.
like 3 little bottles, and you use them. Each bottle had like 14 days in it, and you take it for 14 days. And I would have indigestion. Anything usually like if it's something with a tomato base, like
Yes, it works so great with indigestion.
oh my god, oh my god, it would I would end up, you know, whatever, lasagna, whatever, and then I would have it, and then I would just pop one of those, pop it the next day, pop it the next day, and everything would be fine. I wouldn't have it
Isn't that
anymore, and it's like,
crazy?
I didn't know it was
For
killing
me,
me.
it works so much fast. I wouldn't it hurts immediately. Like, if I got any kind of heartburn or anything and I took it, it'd be good in like 10, 15 minutes, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. So I'm glad you said that because I'm just like I never thought about that, and we don't think about that. Even when you have an upset stomach, you take Pepto Bismol or anything, and it's like you really don't want to do that. What is causing it? Find out what's causing it. And then either stop eating it, change your diet. My sister's having some, stomach issues like that, and we were talking, and I hope I ain't putting her business out in the streets, but she was she we had talked about her changing her diet to more of a Mediterranean diet so that you can or streamlining her diet so that she could figure out what was causing the issue because the doctors can't find out what's going on at all, and I'm just like, that's scary when they cannot find out what's going on. But then we have to do our work on our end, like I said, changing the diet and eating foods without all the cholesterol and all the natural the what is it, the granulated sugar that we eat. Our body isn't supposed to digest that. My ex-husband used to have issues with his pancreas, and we had gone to the hospital twice out of the 7 years we had been together. And then he had kidney
mm,
stones too. And
mm.
they told him, they were like, you can't keep having this pancreatitis because, it'll get to a point where we can't bring you back, because your body can't digest, what is it, Pizza Hut and Papa John's and all this type of thing. Because what he had
Oh, you
eaten
mean
was
the
pizza.
standard American diet?
Right, which is killing us. No other country eats like we eat, Lily, and I had
It's
to
the
find
bad
that out in
food
the
is
documentary.
illegal everywhere else. Most of our food that is not even food to anybody else.
No, and
It's
half
just
the half the shit that we're eating is banned in other countries,
absolutely,
and I'm like,
absolutely.
y'all don't really love us like you do.
But then the whole thing is, like, for me right now, if I go through a normal grocery store,
Mhm.
I'm like, "Oh, there's nothing but poison in here." Like, Because
Everything.
part of it is because, like, on my dialysis diet, I have so many restrictions that I literally can walk through. I walked through a giant grocery store in Texas, thinking, "Well, this is a giant city and a giant store in Texas, which is where Louisiana gets most of its produce." And I was like,
Uh-huh.
"Surely, verily I say unto thee, I will find some products in this store that I can eat."
Uh-huh.
And no, like, I mean, yeah, I can eat some, like the produce that, like, that's okay for me because I can't
Uh-huh.
even eat all produce.
Mhm.
But I'm such a nerd, so like, I used to look up every single thing. I'd be like, "Hey, what
Oh
about like
my
me and
god.
ChatGPT are best friends?" I'd be like,
Right.
"Hey, what about this? Hey, let me get that. What's the potassium? What's the that?" Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to put out tomatoes immediately. So
Really?
I have not had a tomato since, whatever, like December and October of
Really? Oh,
2023.
wow.
Tomatoes, like
Really?
onion sauces, I figured out how to make an incredible chili, no tomatoes. Like incredible tomato dishes, no tomatoes, because I was a fat chick, and I knew they weren't gonna take me seriously, so I wanted to be the most compliant patient you ever did see. So,
Oh,
I cut out all the stuff they told me to cut out. I had already pretty much cut out sugar anyway.
yeah.
Salt, I cut out salt. I didn't put no salt in no thing for 2 years, to the point where I was at a salt deficit, so now I had to microdose salt. But but in
Wow.
exchange for that, I can walk, I can
Uh-huh.
see. My
Yeah.
A1C has been like less than diabetic for over a year. I'm not on any blood pressure medications at all. My blood
Mhm.
pressure pressure kind of hangs a little bit on the low side, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
Like, so it's just kind of like, well, my lipids are great. It's kind of like food still tastes very, very good.
Yeah.
Fast food stuff, because I'm not gonna give up on, because I still love food.
Yes.
And of course, I got home because when I first got out of the hospital, I couldn't eat anything. I was eating like 4 grapes a day, and sometimes even that would come up. And what happened as a diabetic, something for you to be aware of, is that when you deplete yourself, this is why you can go all day without eating. When
Mhm.
you deplete yourself, your liver dump sugar into your blood. Your liver will generate it itself and dump it into your
Oh.
blood to keep you alive, but it doesn't know when to stop. And if you're a type
Oh.
2 diabetic, that other enzyme that like controls it doesn't get
Uh-huh.
activated. And so you'll just end up flooded with, you can have high blood sugar even if you haven't eaten all day. So that's something to keep in mind.
Wow.
It's also why a lot of people
Did
wake
not
up
know that.
with a higher number than they want you to have,
Mhm. With a
because,
spike.
yeah, you get a
Spike.
spike in the morning because right around the time your body actually wants you to wake up, the liver will give you a little sugar to say, "Hey, wake up." But if you don't get up at that time, then it'll just keep climbing. If you get up and eat something, it will smooth out. But if
It'll
you
level
don't
out.
eat
Okay.
something, it will just keep, and then it'll keep you going. And
Mhm.
and you can be, man, I don't like to eat.
Yeah.
And
I'm
your
so
body's
glad
just
you
like,
said that.
I'm compensating for you, bro. Bro.
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad you said that because I don't think about it. I'm not usually a breakfast person in the morning. And so sometimes I'll grab, like the other day, I had some pretzels and I just got my bag of pretzels and I was eating them and then I was sitting down, kind of doing stuff for the podcast. And then I have a baking show as well. And I was kind of just, but I was just snacking on a couple of pretzels and I put the bag down. And then I gotten hungry. So I was like, let me pull something out because I really, really, really gotten hungry. But I don't think about it in the morning. And I got to be better about that, now that you said that, because
You and Liz
I
are
did
in the
not know
same
that.
boat, and it drives me crazy because I want my boo-boo to have some breakfast. But, like,
Right.
the little tiny protein and a little tiny carb. Look, I've taken to putting a fried egg on top of a rice cracker,
Yeah.
and calling it because I don't usually have an appetite in the morning either, but I know I gotta do what I
Really?
gotta do. Or
Yeah?
like a half a cup of blueberries and like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Just a little
Okay.
something, something.
There's
Just a
ways.
little something, something.
Yeah. Yeah.
We need to learn to start grazing just to keep everything smooth. Just
Yeah.
graze little bits here and there to keep everything smooth. And that's not reaching for a bag of chips because that's not grazing.
That
When
yeah.
I say grazing, I mean like reaching for things that actually have nutrients in them,
Right. Nutritional
and
value.
yeah, I mean, can you imagine?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know if you can get into hummus, but that's a little powerful for a lot of
You
people.
turned me on to hummus. I think it was hummus and pine nuts or something we had, and you
Yes,
had, "I'm
yes.
gonna put pine nuts," and I was like, "From the tree? What you
I'll do
pine
it.
nuts?" But that it was delicious. No, it was some pasta or something you made that had pine nuts in it or something,
Yeah.
and it was delicious. I
Uh,
had never eaten pine nuts prior to that. I was like, "Pine nuts?
uh,
You mean from the pine tree?" So, but yeah, but I'm working now to make better choices because I was looking at this guy on YouTube the other day, Lily, and I kid you not, I love vegetables. I don't have to have meat. If I can make my vegetables taste like the meat, but and I'm salivating now thinking about a ribeye or some baby back. I am such a carnivore, and I'm like, it's so hard to get away from that meat. But that meat is what's killing us with all the steroids and things that they put in the meat.
that's true.
It's
I
just
would
not good
say,
for
like, for me personally, I have to have a certain amount of protein because every time I run dialysis, it's pulling protein out of my body.
it.
So I have to replace it. Plus, I'm an old lady, and old ladies have to watch the protein. But I have to get it from the cleanest sources I can. So,
Yeah.
like, I check all the extra things that they add to the meat. Now, I'm not to the point where I'm gonna go all organic and pretend like because I literally can't afford it.
Mhm.
And so I know that I probably eat meat that has been altered in those ways,
Yeah.
but I stay away from meat that has been processed anyway, so, like, no luncheon meats or anything like that. I just try
Mhm.
to get clean sources of meat that I can control. I can be aware of, like, what the fat content is and
Mhm.
whether like, no extra preservatives and no extra nitrates and no extra, this and
Yeah.
that, the other. And, just to and that's the whole thing, like, simplifying
Mhm.
getting whole vegetables, not canned vegetables, or frozen vegetables, that works
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, if you get canned vegetables, rinse them off before you use them. Just like
Okay.
because that takes out the extra sodium that's also
Yeah.
killing us, especially if we are Black, you know.
Yes. Yes.
And then, like, find what your spice palette is, because everybody's got, like, a urban spice palette that their mouth is like, "Yes, give it
Yeah.
to me." Like, for
You know
me no, go ahead.
No, 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 you go ahead. I cut you off.
I'm gonna say for me, it's like basil. You put basil on anything. You
Yeah.
use cilantro on anything,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
vice versa. I'm like, yes, yum, 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 yum. And then, like, my salt alternative, I found this
Mhm.
spice. It's called McCormick something. We just call it the McCormick. The McCormick. Because, this all
It's like a
started in Louisiana,
nature
and
seasoning or something?
it's it's called perfect something or other.
I think it's already got, like, garlic and
It's garlic, lots of citrus, it is
oh, I
everything.
think I know what you're talking
It's
about.
already there.
Yeah.
'Cause the whole
Mhm.
thing started in a Louisiana hospital. Louisiana people ain't gonna eat the food if it don't taste right.
Yeah.
So
They
when you
gotta have
put that thing
seasoning.
on McCormick on your little naked broccoli, you know, you know, it's that stuff like anything, and it's
Yeah.
again sodium free. And I got into what's the name, Brian? Come on, lady. If you can't have a good day, don't go ruining anybody else's day. What's her name? Look. Yeah, the vegan she's a vegan chef lady, and she kinda had a similar journey to mine where she was sick all the time, and for her, she just went vegan, and it worked for her.
I can't remember I don't even see a face. And she has,
Golly,
like, a
what a
cooking show now, or she's on YouTube, or what?
she was always in my Facebook feed for a long time. I'm sure she's on YouTube, but
Okay, okay.
she even was on a season of The Chi. Did you ever watch that show that,
Ah,
um
Tabitha Brown.
yeah, Tabitha Brown,
Yeah,
there
that's
we are.
my girl. That's my
Tabitha
girl, yeah.
Brown, kind of a line of seasonings that I got into,
Okay,
but
okay.
then Black people started boycotting all the places that were selling them, and so now they don't sell them anymore.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So I'm like, "Black people, watch out. We need"
We need some good and I hear that seasoning is good. I've never tried it, but I've heard good
Mhm.
things about it. It's very healthy.
She has a whole line. Her taco business was,
Mhm.
like,
Really?
another thing that you could put on anything and it would come alive. She had a garlic
What?
one that was great, a lemon
Mhm.
pepper one that was I mean, she had a whole line, and I think I have all of them. And I would put
Really?
them like, I would make my own sauces because I couldn't do most condiments because of the
Yeah,
sodium, and
yeah,
anything with any kind of tomato in it, can't do it,
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So I would just have to make my own sauces, and I would very much use, Miss Tabitha Brown. So shout out to
Okay.
Tabitha.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
I love what she's doing as far as being vegan, and there's some things that she'll do that I've never seen. I think it was something she did with some, either some not kale. It was something she did with cauliflower or mashed potato cauliflowers or something like that,
Cauliflower is
and
my best friend, baby. It's my best friend.
as a diabetic, that it is because you can't have the potatoes.
Right.
And so I think Oprah had something like that too, and I tasted Oprah's, and it was pretty good. It had a bit of more salt in it than I really desired, but it was flavorful. And I bought quite a few of those, and I was eating that, but you've always fall off. I'm
I
thinking
do
very
mashed
hard about
cauliflower all the time, and I put my McCormick in it, and I'm good to go,
and good to go. I know that's right. I
you
know
know?
that's right. But I'm glad
So
that you are on I guess on a healthier journey. And as you said, taking your health more serious because we need Lilli Lewis here, baby. And I'm thankful that you still kicking and doing your thing. So I do have, a few questions that I want to run by you because, of our title 88 Keys, Infinite Stories with Lilli Lewis. I call you Lils. But
I've
yes,
told a lot
so
of stories.
but this is the Painfully Honest podcast. Our format
Yes.
is whatever the format
I'm
is.
to be honest.
Yes.
So,
But like I
say
like
it's
I
your
said
idea, but
but like I said, I didn't know if you wanted to share that because I was going to get into that, but I was like, I didn't know if you wanted to share. But I'm glad that you shared because some people can hear some of the advice that you gave that are walking a diabetic journey and being on dialysis. My brother-in-law's mom is actually on dialysis. Actually I'm not sure who takes he takes her sometimes when she has to go, but I didn't even know. And it's like, I always am curious about like that journey, like what happened. My uncle was on dialysis as well, but I know that he loves sweets. I mean, even up until I guess when he passed, he had cookies stashed away in his room somewhere. And I'm like, Lord Jesus. So, but I'm so
I
glad that
mean,
you're on a
it's
healthier
a lot
journey.
of us. It's a lot of us in that room, in them chairs,
Yeah.
and I think, we especially need to be aware
Mhm.
given what's going on with the government these days because,
Lord.
I looked at one of my statements and saw that this medicine they were giving me once a month
Mhm.
cost $20,000 per shot. And that was just to keep my blood up,
Oh.
And like we have to know that everything is tenuous. I'm like, please everybody take care of your bodies because
Mhm. Mhm.
Like right now, I'm incredibly lucky. I have this care,
Yeah.
and the government is paying for it.
Mhm.
And every time they get on threatening to take this stuff away,
Mhm.
I kind of have a disaster crash in my
Yeah.
mind and in my
I don't
body
blame you.
because I never want to be that sick again. And
Right.
without dialysis, I will get that sick very quickly.
Mm.
Without dialysis,
Mm.
I won't have a lot of time, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to get a kidney. I've lost about 185, 190 pounds now, but I still have
Oh.
25 left to lose before they will be willing to operate on me.
Mhm.
Luckily, my brother has offered to see if he's compatible.
Mhm.
So hopefully, if I have a in-family donor, I can get a transplant as soon as my body is small enough. Don't get me
Yes.
started on that. But I do understand it is a risk factor, like
Yeah.
somehow
There is.
infections are wider
Mm.
without for people who aren't at a certain BMI. To
Yeah.
be honest, I carry my weight in the place where they would have to operate, and it makes
Oh,
me
okay.
wonder if I need to actually be smaller than that number because of
Yeah.
just where my weight is carried. Like if I
I
were
got you.
big busted, it might be different if I had one up here, but I don't. It's all down where they need to be. So
Yeah. Yeah.
but we'll see what they say once I get
Yeah.
in their program. But like I said, I am compliant as hell, and
And
there
that's
should
half the
be
battle
no.
too, to keep you in a
Yeah.
good place health-wise, because you gotta be a participant in your own health. But we
And
gonna pray that
you were talking earlier about the doctors not being the doctors don't actually know, and they don't actually have time to find out. Like, most
mm-mm.
of these doctors do
No.
not have time to find out,
Mm-mm.
and that is the truth. So you have to do as much research as possible, and if you
Yes, you
have
do.
to get a virtually companion, run, because
Yeah.
we have to be informed about what's going on in our bodies. I can tell
Yes.
ChatGPT. ChatGPT knows everything about me, baby. This is what
Yeah.
my poop. This is what my poop would look like
What it
today.
looks
What can
like.
you tell me?
What is
Where am
it?
I? What's going
Yeah.
on? What should I
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Mhm.
Like
Yeah, I
I
do.
have
Yep.
learned so much, and then I can take that to the doctor, and the doctor can laugh at it, or the doctor can go deeply into it. But
Yeah.
that has saved me so many times. Last summer, my
Mhm.
nephrologist finally said to me, and I'm sorry, I know you got to get your questions.
No,
My
no, no, you're
nephrologist,
fine. No, 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 you good.
my nephrologist finally said to me when I walked in, I had lost 170 at that point,
Mhm.
and he was like, "So the scale doesn't lie." I was like, "No, sorry, it does not." He's like, "So you are actually doing what we tell you?" Yes, sir. Yes, I absolutely am. He was like, you've said that since I've known you, but I just assumed you were lying. He said any doctor in their right mind would assume they were lying because every patient lies. He was like, in my 30-year career, I
Mhm.
have not encountered somebody who is actually doing what we told them to do. He's like, that's
Yeah.
why you're having trouble walking. That's why I have to microdose salt. He's
Oh,
like,
okay.
He's like, "Yeah, you're sodium deficient now because you actually do." He's like, "These people are going out and eating these high fat, high cholesterol,
Mhm.
3,000 calorie diets.
Yeah.
You're eating 1,100 calories religiously." And then at that time, I was actually on a very low calorie diet, so I was eating 600 calories a day religiously. I was
What?
counting everything,
What were you
every
eating?
teaspoon of olive oil, every da 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 da. I had to keep it very regimented because
Mhm.
it had to be simple enough that I could do it and know what the numbers were.
Mhm.
But I would basically limit my meals to between 100 and 300 calories a day and
Mhm.
do my best to make sure that I hit my 70 grams of protein in the midst of that. Like it
Mhm.
was very, very specific and it wasn't healthy. And it was healthy for me because I have a specific goal I'm trying to get to. I need to get a
Right.
new kidney. you know.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
um, but we went into it knowing that there would be, um, that there would be a, what is the word? There would be a trade-off, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and around here, I couldn't get any doctors to help me manage the VLCD, um, very low calorie diet. Uh,
Okay.
if I wasn't interested in having that, um, stomach surgery, and
Mm.
I was like, "I lost 175 pounds by myself. Why would I do surgery
Yeah.
now?" You know?
And rip your
And
body
my
apart.
right, and my it's bleeding in your stomach, you know? Like, I'm not trying to give myself a lobotomy, you know?
Right.
And
Right.
and my nephrologist agreed. He was like, "You don't need to add the complications of that on top of being a dialysis
Right.
patient," which is
Mhm.
interesting because there are at least 2 clinics in this country that will operate on you where I am now if I'm willing to get that surgery at the same time.
Mm.
And and one of them is here. One of them is at Tulane
Oh,
University. And
wow, okay.
but I don't really have that surgery, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
take however long it takes to get these last 25 off. But
Yeah.
who's to
Gotcha.
say, he had to come out and tell me he thought I was lying. And I know that all of my doctors, most of my doctors, my whole life have been the same,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I've been a little orphan out here, and I'm like, y'all, especially as people of color, especially as Black people, and don't
Mhm.
you dare have a single extra pound on you. You know,
Yeah. That's
they
it.
will look through you and not treat you like a person, and then you're not
Mhm.
imagining it, but you can be in control. You can take
Yeah.
control of
Yeah.
your the quality of care you get.
Mm.
So, yeah,
You have to be a
I'm
willing
actually really
participant.
glad that you asked these questions because I don't think we can talk about this stuff enough. It has to
Right.
be
You can't.
normalized. Everybody
Yeah.
has to understand that we're all vulnerable,
Mhm.
and that we all can very well claim responsibility in the face of
Mhm.
that vulnerability,
Mm.
in whatever capacity we can, and it's never gonna be perfect, you
No.
know? You
Yeah.
just do the best you can with, like, an intentional attitude, and you don't go beating people over the head with it, just just have a good time, I call my
Mhm.
kitchen a test kitchen for a
Yeah.
reason. 'Cause I
Yeah.
cooked a certain way my whole life. I don't necessarily
Yeah.
know if so I work it out, I figure it out, and I just turn
Yeah.
it into a game, like, just try to
Yeah.
have a good time doing it
Yeah.
and just make it,
Yeah.
like, quality experience no matter where you started from,
Right.
but start where you are,
Mhm. I totally agree with
not
you.
not where nobody else is.
Where you
You
are.
gotta
Yeah.
take my kids or
Yeah.
whatever.
Mhm. And you're right
Yeah.
about that. Like I said, being an active participant in your own health, knowing exactly what it is that doing the research, that's the other part. Doing the research and knowing, somebody had mentioned to me some years ago about eating at your blood type or something like that. Have you heard of
Yes,
that?
that's a big deal too. Yeah.
Yeah. Eating so you may not need to have a high percentage of red meats in your diet. You probably just need the minimum, your vegetables, but to learn what that
There's
is.
also all these gut tests that can show you what's going on with your
Mhm.
gut to let you know what
Yeah.
enzymes you're missing and not, and that can also
Yeah.
help you figure out what you need to be.
Mhm.
There's a lot going on in these bodies, y'all. There's a lot going
Yeah.
on, and we
Lot
gotta
going
respect
on.
it's an incredible design.
Mhm. Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, well, you put the kidneys in charge of all of that? Are you sure? Yeah,
Or when you go to sleep, your body's healing. You're not just sleeping, you know?
that part. Come on, y'all.
Yeah.
All the passionate
Yeah.
people, all you need
Yeah.
to be when you wanna go to sleep, like, have a little discipline. You want your kids to have discipline, not
Yeah,
some
that's it.
discipline.
Mhm.
Quit
That's it.
calming down. Try to get some
Yeah.
Z's.
Yeah,
Get
that's it.
some, what you call that? Either oxytocin before you go to bed, like, get a little hoodoo, a little something,
Melatonin.
snuggle. This is what look, melatonin will put you to sleep, but it might not be the greatest sleep. I mean, it would be deep, but you
Mhm.
might wake up feeling kind of groggy. What I'm really trying to say is like get some like endorphins from somewhere, like find something to laugh at, or get a good snuggle, or
Right.
both.
Uh-huh.
But
Yeah.
like before you go to sleep, like so that you're going to sleep with good hormones already running around in your body. So
Hey,
even if
that's
you
true.
use a sleep aid like
That's
melatonin,
true.
you want to
Mhm.
have also the good little hormones that because that'll activate more healing, you know.
Mhm. Mhm. I
That's just
agree.
Lily being woo woo.
No, I hear you. I hear you. And then, like you said, like melatonin was one thing that I used to take on, but I had to start doubling it. But I didn't realize that our body was already producing melatonin, and what we were doing
That's
is
why
adding
it's a
to it.
good one to take because it is actually natural. Yeah, your
It's
body
natural. Yeah.
does produce it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
But
Yep.
sometimes depending on your neurodivergence, the body will produce less or not really be able to use it in the way that you're supposed to. To tell you the
Yeah.
truth, and I don't know if we could say this on here, but like the cannabinoids are
Mhm.
supposed to help with like correcting some of those activations, and that's some fascinating
Mhm.
stuff. I can't do any of that stuff either, not because of dialysis, but I think I'm genetically just not able to do it. It makes me feel very, very sick to be around it. But I know
Mhm.
that it's good for our bodies. It cannot be good for our minds if we overdo it, but
Yeah.
like, the CBD products can be
Yeah.
good
Ganja.
at getting our bodies back in alignment the way they're supposed to be. Like that there's a
Yeah.
lot of interesting science around that stuff. So
Yes.
put your
The
nerd
per
on. Put your nerd on. Put your
Right. But
nerd
the
on.
person that brought that up to me was not to me, but that she because Whoopi Goldberg has a
Align.
company, yeah, a line
Yep.
that deals with, having wanna in and uses for women mainly,
Yeah.
and so but I've never tried anything like, I've only had it where, like, people have put it in, baked goods and stuff
Uh-uh.
like that, but it helps helps me. I suffer from anxiety,
Yeah.
so it helps to, like, level me out, but I feel
Liz
weird
uses it
sometimes.
regularly for that reason, for anxiety.
Really? It because I like being in control, so sometimes it makes me feel like I'm not in control, I'm just more laid back, and that causes me to have anxiety too, because 'cause I'm so used to being in control and I know
It is
what's
that
going on.
too, right? Like where it'll tip on over into the,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, it's like,
yeah.
"Oh, I love this, but, oh, I got something to do, I go, wait, 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 wait." So
And
so
so
yeah.
she gets edibles,
Okay.
uh but she microdoses the edible and only uses it
Mm,
when she needs to get something done. But it
okay.
has to be a certain amount, and depending on the product, she has to find out exactly what that amount is because if she
Mm.
overdoes it, it won't help and it ends up being very unpleasant. You know.
Oh, wow.
But I have found that
Me
like
all day.
for people like with anxiety, I have panic disorders more than generalized
Mm,
anxiety.
okay.
And I don't know if it works for that because it's just like too late.
Yeah,
I'm in
yeah,
the sack. It's so acute.
yeah,
But it's so good for so many things in the body,
yes.
whether we're talking about, neurodivergence or we're talking
Mhm,
about inflammation or we're talking about
mhm,
glaucoma or even just ironing out the ways in which our natural receptors are supposed to work
mhm,
that all of our demented food systems has kind of muted,
mhm.
like it can bring all of that back into balance. So even though I can't use it, I'm still, all for it. It's
Yeah,
it's an important
a fan.
tool.
I'm definitely a
Yeah.
fan of it, definitely.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna jump into some of the questions that I got to ask you because I have curated this list of questions, okay?
Okay.
Um, when you hear the phrase 88 keys, infinite stories, what does that mean to you? Not just as a musician, but as a human being.
Well, okay. I take it down to not the 88 keys, but like the 12 notes that are
Mm,
supposedly in the Western music system
okay.
is just 12 notes.
Okay.
Some, they're across different octaves or whatever,
Yeah.
but uh, but it's just 12 notes. And you could tell so many stories and make so many colors and like
That's amazing. Okay.
with just 12 notes, it's unbelievable. And in other traditions, they use more than 12 notes
Mhm.
because they never felt the need to simplify
Okay.
the way we did. They didn't simplify the physics the way we
Yeah.
did.
Right.
And so a lot of the stories they tell are even more complex and rich than the stories we tell.
Yes.
But it's just fascinating to me what you can do with those 12 notes. Like you can mess with the rhythm and they start talking to you this way, or you can mess with
Mhm.
the range and they talk to you this way, and
Mhm.
you can start messing with the textures and they start talking to you this way.
Yeah.
And they're just, for me, it's all about the colors, because in the songs that I write, I try to let my chord progressions help tell the story instead of just using the same chord progression,
Mhm.
over and over again. I try to make sure I'm using the chords in the right order so that they actually do augment the story. And
Mm.
I mean, it's just pure magic. Like, I don't know, but we could take it even further back.
Okay.
Like, the
Okay.
first instrument we found um was a flute
Mhm.
made from bird feather, like
Mm.
the bone of a bird feather. The bone. They
Okay.
made a flute out of the
Mhm.
bone,
Mhm.
and it only had 5 pitches, and it was a freaking pentatonic scale, my friend.
What?
5 notes is where our like melodic vocabulary began. And it
Wow.
was a pentatonic scale, which is why it's so ancient to us. Like if I da, da, and like, we're in a situation where we understand we're in pentatonic,
Mhm.
what next note to sing. And most of the melodies that we sing now, especially the folk melodies,
Mhm.
all the runs that we do, all it's all pentatonic.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
even 5 notes
Mhm.
and tell a profound amount of stories. So
Yeah.
I think I have to, as much as I'm obsessed with the damn piano, I think I have to give it to the human spirit and that longing that it has to reach outside of itself and
Mhm.
create breath, use breath in a way that goes beyond this body, and maybe
Mhm.
takes us back to source, you
Okay.
know,
Mhm.
essence. It's we are delightful creatures.
Yes, we
I
are.
hope we understand that. Everybody likes to be like, I hate people. Yo, we are fancy as fuck.
We are. And complicated as they come.
Yes, kaleidoscopic.
Woo!
So, but
Oh my God.
let's give it some humanity.
And I think too, but I love, and I have always loved, and I don't know, I can't even tell you what I heard or the music I first realized when it was music, but I have always loved how music can change your mood. It can make you smile. It can tell a story. It can cheer you up. It can, make you sad. I have a saying on one of my vision boards, that songwriters control the world, you know,
And we have for a
and
very long time.
yes, and that's a serious thing. And I mean, it's a very simple statement, but it is a very serious thing when you think of John Lennon.
If we understand the
Mhm.
responsibility, then yes.
Yes. Come on
If
now.
we dismiss the responsibility and we let the
Mhm.
vanity be more important,
You're gonna lose it all. Oh my God. You know somebody that said that when Jill Scott created her first album, she was just writing the tracks.
mhm.
She didn't even know, nobody was really like checking for her or nothing or whatever. And she was just writing and writing. And then she said, they started listening to her stuff and was like, that's you? But because she didn't fit the aesthetic or whatever, they weren't checking for her like that. And she said that. They were not checking for her. And then when they realized what it was, and then I guess she was friends with the Roots. I'm not sure how she ended up with the Roots, but she ended up singing with them at some like open mic or something and kind of, clicking with everybody. But it's like, if we, like you said, taking the vanity out of it, that is usually the problem. That is, if you look at record labels and how they, oh, we want this. Y'all don't know what y'all want. Y'all ain't never been no artist. Y'all ain't never wrote no damn songs. Like, what the
Exactly,
hell
they
you
don't know what they
mean?
need. They
You
don't know what
don't
they
know until
need.
I put it in front of you and say, hey, go listen to this. Take a swig of this and let me know what you think.
Now, let me tell you,
But that
I
doesn't fit what
believe
I
that
think.
music controls the world because it
Mhm,
brings us back to the physics of reality, which is
mhm.
that vibration is everything. Everything is made
Everything.
of vibration.
Mhm.
Music puts us in alignment with that truth, but it's organized. And
Yeah.
so you can actually take all of this stuff that feels chaotic and you can
Mhm.
bring it together. You can shake it
Yeah.
together,
Yeah.
and shape it the way you want to. So, like,
Mhm.
denied. There's some new science that looks like brain waves are actually musical waves too. Like that's
Yeah.
thing. The universe
And
makes
we already
music. The
possess
earth
that.
is making music. Like everything has a vibration. Come on, y'all. Don't get
Everything.
with the program. But
Yes.
if we reduce that all down to these algorithmic approaches
Mhm.
to managing these vibrations, then we start to ignore like
Mhm.
the ancient wisdom that's embedded in what most of the artists used to do intrinsically.
Yeah.
And if we go back to the 70s at least,
Mhm.
which is fairly recent as far as I'm concerned,
Mhm.
like all of the artists were doing that intrinsically. I started listening to more music from the 80s just to check it out because I grew up thinking that 80s music was terrible.
Oh.
But now I go back and listen to the music of my youth because I mean, I loved it then, but I was kind of embarrassed. I was like, oh, maybe it was corny. I love music. They were willing to put in the music.
Uh-huh.
But I
Yeah.
listen now to what is out there that was readily available to me when I was a child.
When we were
I
young. Yep.
listen to
That's it.
just stuff that's readily available to today's
Mhm.
children that's shoved in their face.
When I think of the '70s, I think of like Joni Mitchell and Eric Clapton. There's a song that he wrote, "You look wonderful tonight." It's early. What is it? I don't know if you've heard that song. You look wonderful tonight. I'll have to send it to you when I get off. But
Yeah.
that song, just I think I love folk music for some reason. But that music from the '70s, Joni Mitchell, that
Now
Courtney
you can't
Sparks
touch
album.
Joni, like, for all her problematic stuff, and she has problematics.
Yes,
For all
yes.
her problematicals, you can't touch Joni. Joni,
Mm-mm.
Joni.
No, no, no.
You can't touch it.
And then just over time, how like a lot of the stuff that they have now, I don't really listen to a lot of it. If it doesn't have a real instrument in it, or I'm just not partial to it. I'm just not partial
Yeah.
to it at all. But I
Well, it's
mentioned,
become so generic.
yes,
It's
that's
so
what I was just about to
generic.
say. And no life is in it. No thought went into it. You're trying, like
They
you said, the
have no
vanity.
idea how flat it is either. They
Mhm,
think that if
mhm,
they put it on TikTok and people vibe with it on TikTok, I went through and scrolled through TikTok not too long ago. There was
mhm.
some like covers contest going on. So you had like only like 100 people sing a 15-second clip of the same song,
Yep.
and they
Mhm,
all had great voices, but
mhm.
not a single one of them felt anything. There was no feeling that I could attach to. It
Right.
was just
No,
like, "I'm
no.
so sorry."
Yeah, all the
And
runs.
I was like, yo, I'm very happy to admit that I am not cool. I am not cool. Like you guys, like, go ahead on,
Y'all
you
have it.
know,
Yeah, of
you
course.
got it.
So before the stages, the audiences, and the recognition, who were you when you fell in love with music? When you first fell in love with music?
I was a wee baby girl. I literally don't remember not hearing music in my head.
Mhm,
Like, I remember the first recital I gave, I was 3 years old. We did
mhm,
not have a piano. I'd never touched I might have touched my daddy's piano at the church, I don't know, but I
Mhm.
just had music in my head. So I brought the whole family into the living room, made them sit down in the fancy room, we everybody had a fancy room back in the
Yes,
day with the
I
plastic
remember.
on the furniture. I
Yes.
brought them into that room, and I made them watch me play the music in my head, and they really thought I had lost my mind.
Oh,
And they started trying to clap, like, to save me from myself, and I was just like, "Shut." Like, they couldn't hear anything, but I could hear it all, you know what I mean? It's
yeah.
some gorgeous concerto that's still playing in the universe somewhere, you know what I mean? So, um, I don't remember a time before I wasn't fully haunted by music, like,
Oh.
I've never not been consumed. I lamented it for a while because I was never one of those prodigies where everything just came to you and all that kind of stuff. And
Mhm.
I was just like, God damn it, I wish music would leave me alone, but it wouldn't. It
Yeah.
didn't. Thank
I'm
God.
glad it didn't.
Yeah.
Glad it didn't. Okay. So what did music feel like to you before you understood it intellectually, when it was just instinct and emotion?
The gateway was harmony.
Okay.
Like the two things that feel like, the ancient wisdom for this particular body and
Mhm.
incarnation of Lily were the hardwood floors in my daddy's church that we would stomp and it would be
Yeah. Yep. I
and it was
remember.
Tony, you know, um, like before the service would start, and it was just the way the feet never all hit the floor at the same time, and the little
Yep. Same
church just
rhythm.
vibrated with and so there was that, the meditative quality of that, and then the harmonies. Like, I was a harmony hoe from day one. Like,
I guess same.
the choir like, I wanted to sing in the choir when I was 3, and they were like, "Little baby girl, no." And I couldn't put together that little people had squeaky voices, but, I wanted to be in that choir so bad, so I would go
Yeah.
home and I would get my dad's tape recorders
Mhm.
because he had several where he would, like, kinda record his notes around his sermons.
Mhm.
And so I would record on one tape on one side and then record on the other side. I would record another part, and I would go back and forth. By the time I was 5, I had figured out that there was signal degradation as I stacked
Mhm. The
so I
notes.
would go back and record, like, the first part, or rather the second part, and then the first part again so that I would have the mix that I needed, and then I would just sit in the middle of those harmonies and just feel like I was God, you know? I was
Okay.
obsessed with harmony, like, out the gate. I was reading the hymnals at the church. Not
Mhm.
I don't know what I'm looking at,
Yeah.
but I'm seeing that the notes go up and down, and I'm seeing that this note is under that note, so I'm thinking, "Oh, well, maybe I should try to sing under." I don't know how I knew what under over meant, but I
Yeah.
I knew how to sight read the alto part, the tenor part, like,
Mhm.
there was never a time when I didn't know how to read this music. And,
Oh.
and then I found out, I go out and I play it out once I learned what music notation
Was.
actually was representing. And I was
Mhm.
just like, oh my God, I've been sight reading these parts. So it has been a lifelong love affair with harmony. And that was my gateway. Like, the piano was my
Mhm.
first best friend.
Okay.
We were very intimately acquainted,
Okay.
it and I, like, they brought that piano into the house for my sister, and she
Okay.
couldn't get me off it. She didn't wanna practice it no way. It was
Ooh, you just took it over.
I just took it over, it talked to me. And it made me feel like I really was a nerdy, like, sad girl for a number of reasons. I have very kind of dense trauma history, and my house wasn't safe. I wasn't safe at the babysitters. My teachers
Oh my
resented
lord.
me, like, because I was too curious and I read
Mhm.
too many Encyclopedia Britannica articles, which now I wish I never did because they was telling lies, garbage, and trash, but I didn't know that at the time. I was very, very alone, and the piano gave me a sense of emotion regulation,
Mm, okay.
and it just made me feel like I had somebody to talk to, you know?
Grounded
And
you.
so the piano was kind of it was my gateway to myself, I guess.
Yes.
And so I would tell it my secrets and stuff. But harmony was like something that just was my only sense of joy, like just to sit in a field of harmony, like made me feel so alive and joyful. Like I have no way of describing it. I don't know how to explain it.
So let me ask you. So you're saying you were sight reading before you learned what music notes and things were. Wow.
100%.
Wow, that's dope.
I
That's
mean,
amazing.
and it's so funny that I walked into the world with those skill sets. Like there's so many kids that are born and they just can play whatever you play. Like, you have that. I
Yeah.
didn't have nothing like that. I could just look on the page and kind of know how it's supposed to go.
Yeah. Wow. But that's a gift in itself too. That's what brought you to where you are now. That's dope, Lily. I never knew that. I
Yeah,
never knew that.
yeah.
Never
But
knew that. That's
everybody,
really
that's
dope.
the thing. Everybody comes to it by
In their
their
own
own
way.
highway. You know.
That's true. That is very, very true. So, was there a specific moment at the piano where you felt seen, understood, or even healed?
Okay, that's a goofy one. In the eighth grade, Um, I got selected for the Georgia All-State Chorus. I
Mhm.
was in band during the day, but I did select chorus after school,
Mhm.
and that somehow made me eligible to try to get into the All-State Chorus.
Okay.
And All-State at the time, I don't even know if they still do it, but it's like a couple hundred kids, form
Mhm.
a choir. And
Yeah.
that year I was assigned to the SATB ensemble, and one of the last numbers we did was Star Maker from Fame.
Hmm.
It's like, Star Maker, Dream Breaker,
Hmm.
heart maker, we're happy now.
Oh
We're
my
so
god.
happy now. It's
Oh my
like,
god. I never heard that.
I did not understand the lyric. I did not understand the story behind the lyric. I still don't to this day. I went and revisited it recently,
Yeah.
and I was just what I was singing about. But I took it upon myself to learn the piano part, and there was something about the repetition in the piano part that just made me feel so alive and like just made me feel like, oh, the mystery,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Yeah.
don't
Yeah. Yeah.
know what it was about it, but somehow those little repeated notes were a gateway for me. Now, tell me again what the question was, because I can frame it.
So it was there a specific moment at the piano where you felt seen, understood, or even healed?
I felt seen, understood, and healed
Mhm.
in those notes.
Okay.
Later on, there would be other pieces like there's this A major Brahms intermezzo that I think is super exquisite, Opus 118 if you're interested. But
Okay.
but that was one that I tried to keep under my hands at all times because again, it made me feel seen. It made
Okay.
me feel healed. It made me feel like there was a field that I could surrender
Playing.
to. And just yes, playing,
Got
right.
it. Mhm.
But that didn't come for a couple more years. Thanks, I think literally Star Maker from Fame was the great.
Was the
But I
song.
don't feel so bad because I have a friend who's a virtuoso saxophonist, like one of the best in the world, and his gateway was Kenny G. So you get it where you get.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, that is true. Everybody comes to it differently. So yeah, that makes sense.
Mhm.
Wow. So who poured into you musically or spiritually in those early years, and how do you carry them with you today?
In the early years, like I said, the piano was my best friend, and in
Hmm.
some ways, my only friend.
Hmm.
That's not really true. I had another friend. Her name is Soraya. She's still a very good friend of mine. We've been friends since
Okay.
we were 3
Hey,
years old.
Soraya.
So it's but Soraya was cute and fun and just as nerdy as me, but like people liked her. People did
Yeah.
not like me. So
Oh.
Soraya had her own life, I was sickly. I was sick all the time. So I stayed home a lot. And because everybody picked on me all the time, including my
Hmm.
teachers, I
Wow.
developed a social anxiety disorder
Hmm.
and I would literally get sick. Like I would want to throw up just thinking about going to school.
Hmm.
And that carried me like all through college. Like I would show up at the class, put my hand on the door and immediately have to throw up.
Oh my God.
And so, in fact, I don't really think that got any better until I almost died of kidney failure in the hospital. Like I had fever dreams that took some of that away for the first time in my life. But
Wow.
but yeah, it was very, very difficult. And the piano, that relationship was safe, intimate, and just mine. The
Hmm.
family hated it when I practiced. Eventually, they bought me a keyboard and made me practice with the headphones on. They just got rid of my piano because they just couldn't stand it. And so that created a stigma that I still struggle with. Like when I go
Hmm.
out to play, a lot of
Hmm.
times, in fact, most of the time, I can still say I'm thinking, for at least part of the show, these people wish I would shut the hell up. I can tell you
Oh,
now that I have crossed over into I bet they do.
but
Imma
they
do
ain't
what I
bad enough to
came here
say
to do.
nothing. But they ain't bad enough to say nothing.
I tell you, say something
Right.
stupid. Literally.
Right. Right.
Like,
Oh wow.
but yeah, I still struggle with that. So there was no encouragement in my home for me to follow
Hmm.
a musical path. It was very much the
Hmm.
opposite. But the piano, that relationship to this day is so intimate. Like, that's why I don't play a lot of notes. That's why I don't play. And here in New Orleans, everybody's got to play all 88 keys. I don't. I pick the two that I want at a time. I
Uh-huh.
pick the precise colors that I want
Yeah.
because of the intimacy factor. Like when I start noodling, it becomes less intimate and more egoic. And the piano has never been that for me. It has always been the place to strip ego and just tell it my deepest, darkest secrets, you
Oh.
know, and have it hold me. So,
So I want to go somewhere that I've been anxiously wanting to go since we started this conversation. Kisses.
yeah,
So Lily, when I first heard your music, when we were, in the band ETQ and all that back in the day, when I heard that song and many other songs, like when you were doing your performance that I saw, is it the
The Marini,
Marinette? Because I
paper.
was tearing that name up. Oh, I was tearing it up. But Turn It Around and Beauty Beyond Reason, like those, like they just took me back because I was like, oh my God, I remember those songs. But there's a life in your music, Lily, that speaks to something in me, and I'm a huge fan of yours. I'm just, I know you. We go back and we're friends, but I'm a fan. And every time, like even back in the day, I was like, oh my gosh, she wrote that song. Who wrote that song? And all of these songs were yours. But there's a life that lives in your songs that you can't that nobody can recreate. Like another person can play Kisses, but it would not have the same life that it would have when you play it and sing it yourself. And it's like, and then your lyrics alone, it just, even in the song that we're going to be dropping the needle on today, the if you really mattered, like those first chords when you start, I'm just like, oh my God, There it is again. So I'm getting to a question. So when you come upon a song or the universe releases a song to you, do you get the lyrics? Do you get the melody? Like what happens in Lily's head when the universe has said, "All right, here."
Um, I love how you were like, somebody could sing it. I'm like, can somebody like somebody else that's right here? Will you say that so you tore that shit up? I didn't think
Oh,
I could
I appreciate
survive.
it.
I could not. I
Appreciate it.
could not. I could not. I was like, oh my Lord. Like,
I
this
was
is what I wish
honored.
my music sounded like. You know what I'm saying?
Thank
It's
you. I
saying it.
appreciate that.
So, it's family music, you know that, you know.
Oh,
But music is the greatest thing. I'm a huge fan of you as an artist, but I'm also a huge fan of you as a person, like both
oh,
like how you comport yourself, how you try to navigate your world. Like, you've already admitted to being a perfectionist and all that kind of stuff, and
yes.
I don't ever want
Ah,
that stuff to defeat you. But in the
yeah.
meantime, you represent like kindness and beauty in such a simple
Oh,
way, and you've always been available to which is why you can say the things that you can say about my music, but everybody else might miss it. You know what I mean? You're available to like
yeah.
an open heart. And I
Yes.
think the reason you respond to my music the way you do is because it's my diary. Like I'm telling you my exact thoughts and feelings. I'm trying
Mhm,
to get to the heart of something every time. Every time
mhm,
I sing a song, I write a lot of songs, but the
mhm,
songs that I go, like, out of my way to actually sing and try to record,
mhm,
most of the time, they're things that are, like, really 100% on my heart for real, for real. And
mhm.
that's why when I sing them, it's gonna be different because when I sing them, it's gonna be a diary situation. When
Yeah.
somebody else sings them, it's gonna be a postcard of the diary. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
get that 100%, but I'm learning that there are so many different ways to do a thing. And
Mhm.
like if I cover a song, I try to cover it as if it's a diary. And as a result,
Mm.
it ends up being entirely different than, so like I covered Creep by Radiohead. And like that song is autobiographical. Like, what the
Oh,
hell am I
wow.
doing here? I don't belong here. It's
Yeah.
how it feels
Yeah.
most of the time. And so
Mhm.
when I sing these songs, like, you know, when you were here before, I couldn't look you in the eye. No, I can't look you in the eye. I have fucking social anxiety disorder. No,
Yeah.
like, and so it
Yeah.
means something different to me.
Yeah.
Um,
And you sing
so
it differently too.
Yes, 100% different. And then when I go back and listen to the original, I'm like, why does this feel flat? It's like, oh, number one, because you're waiting for the singer to sing like you, but you're singing like the guitar makes
Oh,
you feel.
yeah.
You're singing like the guitar makes you feel. So
That's it.
that's part of it. But the other
Mhm.
part is that, like, I'm not sure. Like, I think that they sort of co-opted that song from somebody
Mhm.
else.
Mhm.
And so I'm not sure they have the same intimacy. It's just like a simple pop tune for them. And
Yeah.
I don't think they needed to internalize it the way I
Right.
did.
Right.
And
Right.
I did a normal cover of it. It's on piano, just piano and voice. I did a
Mhm.
normal cover of it, and then I did an extended cut, and I played back that extended cut, and I was like, "That was the truth. That
Right.
was how you feel. That's how you
Mhm.
feel," you know?
Mhm.
So, it's just all to say I'm one of those bleeding hearts that always has to wear my all my feelings on my sleeve, and I can't hold my tongue, and I try to put it into songs so that I'm not too so scared to talk to people. I'm not, I'm like, "Just come to the show," you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
That's how I really feel. Just like, please just come to the show, because 'cause you're gonna get the best of me
Yeah.
there,
I agree. I
otherwise
totally.
I'll get all the neurotic parts of me. Come to the
Yeah.
show, you get the best of me.
Okay. So, what can the piano express that words alone sometimes can't?
Everything,
Everything.
everything. The piano can say everything,
Everything.
everything.
Okay.
everything. You listen to piano music from when it was born, say like, Beethoven-y times,
Uh-huh.
and then you go all the way up to John Batiste. But you
Uh-huh.
tell me you ain't heard everything. You
Right.
go through you go through James Booker, you go through Duke Ellington,
Yep.
you go through Maurice Ravel, I mean, come on, you go through
Hmm.
the really beautiful language. Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on, which is its own technology. And
Yeah.
the piano, it's just like,
It says what it needs to say. Yeah, that's true.
I
That
don't
is so
know, I
true.
don't know what the piano can't say. No, whether or not you can hear it is not a hidden thing. I don't think there's anything the piano can't say, you know,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
everybody is bringing their heart to it, their spirit to it.
Hmm.
Everybody has
Hmm.
their own pianism. That's the other thing. No
Hmm.
piano voice is the same, and just like no
Yeah.
vocal voice, no piano voice is the same.
Right.
You could
Right.
do your
Right.
best to play like such and such, so and so, Dr. John or whatever, Alan Tusa. You do your best to play like them. She always gonna sound like you. Ain't nothing you
Yeah.
can do about that.
That is
And
very true.
that's the other power of it. It's like I play this event usually every year.
Hmm.
As long as they'll invite me back, it's called Piano Night. It's a big fundraiser for our local station, WWOZ. And it's Christmas
Hmm.
because it's like 25 pianists back to back, like showing their pianism. So it's
Mm.
just like outrageous. It's everybody's got about 10 minutes each to like, this is my voice, this is,
Really? Oh wow.
sing. You usually get a lot of horns around here. Every place else is all guitar.
Hmm.
This is Iron Man, pianos, but areas that I love. Anyway, everything. Piano can say everything.
I got you.
Words. Okay, Suzanne Vega said, if language were lit, wait, if language, wait, wait, don't get it wrong, Lily. If language were liquid, it would be rushing in.
Oh.
Instead, here we are in a silence more eloquent than any words could ever be. Words are too solid. They don't move fast enough to catch the blur in the brain that flies by and is gone.
Is that My Name Is Luca? Is that
That's
that
on the
one?
same album.
Okay,
It's
it's on
on
the
the
same.
same album.
Okay, okay, okay. I gotta go
Um,
back and listen to that. I love those
it's
lyrics.
it's a great album, and those lyrics in particular always grab me. And what I think the piano does is it just wraps up all of those words and all of that meaning that we
Mm,
can't
okay.
catch because the words are too solid. They don't move fast enough. And all of those
Right.
vibrations and all the strings, like the length of those strings, you got 9 feet of strings that are vibrating all of these infinite overtones and it just washes
Mhm.
over you. Lord.
So now I gotta go find this song, and what is the name of the song, Lily? Am I putting you
I
on the
don't
spot?
look.
I'm sorry.
It might just be called Language, but the album is called
Language?
Solitude Standing. Let me see. You
Okay.
want me to look it up?
You
Solitude
don't have to. You
Standing.
don't have to. I'm gonna get that because I have Apple Music, so I'll check it out. Because I know that song, My Name Is Luca, that's one of my favorite songs, so I'll find it on that album.
That is the second track on that album, and the song is
Okay.
just called Language. Yeah.
Language. Okay, I got to go hear that because I love lyrics and how you paint a song with lyrics. Like just I wish I had loaded up Kisses so they could hear Kisses, but just the way when you say what is it? Will a kiss make it better? Just a lot. There's a lot in that song, and I still listen to it still to this day. Like, oh my god, like it's just a beautiful song, y'all. I'm gonna
Did you
probably
know
post
that I
it on my page.
re-recorded that song with my band a few years ago?
No.
I re-recorded it with the band that I play with out here, the Lilli Lewis Project.
Mm-mm.
And you should check that out. The album is called We
Okay.
Belong, and I'll put kisses on there for you.
Oh Lord Jesus. I got to go get it.
Mhm.
Is that on Apple Music or is it on
Yeah,
YouTube?
uh-huh. It's on Apple
It's on
Music.
Apple Okay, okay. I definitely got it. I didn't know that. I did not know that. I have to check that out because I'm still
If
listening to
when
the
we do
one
it in
that
the
was
club, it's like
recorded.
a 10-minute number because our saxophonist just goes wild, and we borrowed your
Really?
harmonies, so we had to get that up in there.
Really? Oh my God. Okay. So I really got to go hear it. Okay. I just looked at that video the other day and I was like, and I think it was an event at the Five Spot. Helen had an event. Remember that?
Yeah, Helen's
It
Hands,
was like a
uh-huh.
fundraiser or something,
Yeah,
and
uh-huh.
we did that song, and I talked to Ken and was talking to Candy because I interviewed Candy maybe a month or so ago, and we were talking about that. But that night I sang that song with the band and everything, I was like, oh my God. Cause I was able to show you, me singing it and you hearing the way I heard the song. And it was just, oh my God. It was just so beautiful,
So
Lord Jesus.
I think I stole one of your licks, and now I'm running out of questions.
Yeah. Yeah. But that is how I heard it. And I was like, oh my God. Such a beautiful song, Lord Jesus. Oh my God. I'm
Thank
gonna
you.
post it. If I can have if I get a format where I can post it, I'm gonna post it on it's more than likely it's on YouTube. So I'll post it on my Facebook page so everybody can hear the song. Um So, when you're creating, do you feel like you're telling a story or uncovering one that's already there?
Definitely the latter,
Mm.
because most of the songs will come through. I'll get like some kind of like feeling in my right front, and I'll be like, oh, and I won't be able to focus until I get the download.
Oh,
And a lot
wow.
of times I'll get like the lyric and the melody at the same time.
Mhm.
And so I'll kind of and once I sit down to compose it, a lot of times the music just writes itself. Like it's like
Mm.
because I might not get the whole melody,
Yeah.
but there's organic unity there, and so the whatever the download got will then reveal how everything else is supposed to go. And
Mhm.
sometimes I have to alter it if I can't play it the way I initially heard it, then I have to change it to suit my body, and
Mm.
suit how I play.
Mhm.
So that's the only way in which I alter it, but it never feels like I'm making it. It feels like I'm just
The
I'm
vessel.
just, yeah. It's like, and I
Mhm.
try not to fuck it up. I try
Yeah.
really hard to like get the
Mhm.
download as
Mhm.
close to what my brain will. And I don't know that I usually get it right, but there's a meditative state that it just automatically puts me in. And so I know
Mhm.
that I get it the best I can get it.
Yeah. Like how it's being dictated to you. You try to create it the way that it comes to you, but then there's times where you have to write where it suits you. Maybe it might align with an emotion or something. So I get it. I get what you're saying. I totally get what you're saying.
For the most part, I do the download verbatim whether or not I can relate to it, and then
Uh-huh.
I find out later. Like, if it's diary stuff,
Mhm.
even if it's diary stuff, uh, I I hear it as I'm writing it. I can hear it
Okay.
as I'm writing it. But sometimes it's just stuff that is coming through, like the band knows that there's another like ensemble in the band, which is called they. We just refer to it as they. Because I'm
Okay.
like, well, they told me this is how it goes,
I get it.
and
Just go with what they say.
you just I
That
don't
is
know what
really
to tell you.
cool.
You know,
Okay.
like for say when they know better than to contradict them. You know, how
Yeah.
could you know?
Right. Got it. I totally have it. So, what has been a defining moment in your journey where you realized this is who I am as an artist?
I would have to say. recently, might have been
Mhm.
last year, I was invited to sing Sinner Man for a group of women called the Coven out here in New Orleans. And
Okay.
they get together and they do a bunch of covers and they throw this very amazing show. All great artists. And the show has so much energy in it and it feels like irreverent and potent in all the right ways, you know.
Mhm, mhm.
They usually do one every season. And they
Hmm.
try to line it up with as much like pagan-y, culty things as they can, you know, just
Like
to
the
like,
solstice and all of that.
you
Okay.
know. So they invited me one year to be a guest artist and to play center man. And at the time I could barely play. I couldn't spend more than like 10 minutes at the piano without passing out.
Aw.
And I could only play like 2 or 3 phrases, you
Mhm.
know, and so I would just work on those 2 or 3 phrases, and I really worked on the song all year long and then played the song, I guess, the October of that year. I genuinely don't remember whether it was last year or the year before,
Mhm.
but learning that song and allowing myself to be fully mounted by the song
Mhm.
and whatever it was that whatever metaphysical majesty that made the song
Yeah.
showed me who I was.
Mm.
I
Okay.
think in that moment, like I had little moments before, like I had a moment right before I got off the road. No, the year before that, I went out to the West Coast and in San Francisco, I did a little club show and my musical route. I have two. One is Toshi Regan and the other
Okay.
who say you're the only one. And
Mhm.
which you remember, I know you do.
Yeah,
And
she was sweet from Sweet Honey in the Rock.
she is the daughter of the founder of Sweet Honey in the Rock. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And then the other is this duo ensemble called Tuck and Patty,
Mm.
who I had seen in Boston and thought this is the most perfect music on the planet. And I bought every record they had that night and I made them sign
Uh-huh.
them. And Patty was really sweet to me. And I was like, "It's sweet." And then I didn't see them again for 20 years. We met again
Ooh.
during the pandemic on
Okay.
a video call. And I'm
Uh-huh.
like on this call, I just logged in randomly and
Mhm.
staring right in front. It was on my birthday that year, no less.
Mm.
Staring right in front of me is Patty Cathcart from Tech and Patty. And I just was like, I couldn't think. I was like, "Ugh," you know.
Panning out.
Then then they made us do breakout rooms, and she was in my like, when my mom died, she really stepped up for me, but, like, this
Aw.
was before my mom had passed. Ian Tuck, her husband, who is a wizard of a guitarist, and
Oh.
they are the godparents, and he's the uncle of, aunt and uncle and godparents of, come on, Lily, Saint Vincent, who is one of my favorite,
Mhm.
like, art pop artists. She's an
Okay.
incredible lyricist, musician, everything. If you don't know
Mhm.
Saint Vincent, I think you would really like her.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
but anyway, they are just remarkable people, and they showed up and sat front and center, and Patty cried through the whole show,
Aw.
and that moved my spirit. And then I sang for I sang in the middle of one of Amy Ray's sets from the Indigo Girls when she came to
Mm.
New Orleans, and she invited me to go on the road with them, so I ended up doing 5 shows with the Indigo Girls because,
What?
'cause of that night, you know? So there have
Mhm.
been things like that, like, shoot, flipping it on Frenchman and playing 4 hours, 4-hour sets and singing the whole set, not even taking a break, giving the fellas a break, but I would sing through, you know what I mean? That kind
Wow.
of
Yeah.
stuff made me feel like I at least respected the tradition, you
Mhm.
know?
Mhm.
And then Patty and Amy Ray, who is king in our household, by the way. Patty and Amy Ray giving me that kind of witness made me think I had something, but I didn't really know who I was until I let myself be inhabited by Cinnamon, and it
Mm,
unlocked all these parts of me that I had
mhm.
put aside because I thought they were too preachy or too this or too that. Nobody want now, just like that's actually who I am,
Just do
and
it and be Lily.
so
Mhm.
you get what you get, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's moved me from being an entertainer to being an artist. We're trying to be an entertainer, a very shy, very awkward entertainer, to
But that's an
being
artist. That's an
being
artist.
an artist, and I think everything about the experience is better,
Mhm.
like, for myself and for my audience, yeah.
Okay. So, Lily, we have a segment here at the Painfully Honest podcast called Drop the Needle. And so that's anytime a music artist comes, we drop the needle and let the audience hear the music that you've brought to share with us. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to drop the needle with Lilli Lewis. If you really matter.
I have one question for you. What would you do if you really mattered? How would you spend your days? How would you know who to walk away from? Who would you care for? What would you dare to lose? How would you choose your path? Use your last breath. What would you do if you really mattered? I see your open heart. It reminds me that the truth can move mountains. And as you stand as your true self, there's nothing left to prove. And when you open up your heart, baby, you shine. You show us what it means to be kind again. And maybe there's nothing we need more. What would you do? What would you do? Yeah, what would you do? We've been waiting just for you. For you. For you.
And now, see, when I got ready to do that, to drop it in, I cut it off, like, because like the piano sustains, and I was like, no, I got to go. It says 3 minutes and 5 seconds, but there was more after the 5 seconds. So I had to, you know, extend it so we could hear the piano sustain all the way to silence. 'Cause I was like, I didn't want to cut nothing off, but that is an amazing song. So tell us about If You Really Mattered.
Well, that came in I think it was about 4 o'clock in the morning. that first section came in about 4 o'clock in the morning, and I started hearing how the words were wrapping themselves around each other, and I was just like, "Oh, oh, no, no," and I got more and more kind of moved by the density of the questions, you
Mm-hmm.
know? How would you spend your days?
Right.
How would you know who to walk away from? Who would you care for? What would you dare to lose? How would
Mm.
you choose your path? Use your last breath? I was just like,
Yeah.
come on now. And I'll tell you the truth, since this is a painfully honest podcast.
Yes.
I woke up at 4 o'clock and I had to pee.
Uh-oh.
And
Okay.
all of that stuff got downloaded while I was sitting on the toilet. Now, that is not new for Lily. I have this thing in my life called toilet bowl revelations, where something very true will arrive
um.
when I'm in this vulnerable state. So now I gotta I got my phone because everybody takes their phone to the bathroom. And
Yes.
I'm like trying to like sing it into the phone because even the melody was so loopy that I was sure I would not have it in the morning. There
Oh
was no
my
way
God.
to
Okay.
recreate that melody. And
Yeah.
so I had to get it down.
Yeah.
And I sat with that for quite a while, feeling like it was special,
Mm-hmm.
but having no idea what was going to happen with it. And then my cousin, Willie Spence, was on American Idol that year.
Okay. Okay.
And every week he just got more and more like in his, body. Till
Mm-hmm.
by the end of it, he was basically just a all out gospel-y Pavarotti. And
Mm.
I was like, the power of a voice like that and just watching him, and I knew that he had a beautiful heart anyway,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
he was a caregiver for his mother and that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just watching him just become this angel on earth through
Yeah.
song. And
Yeah.
I know in being in the presence of a voice like yours, what these what these voices do to people's bodies,
Yeah.
like
Mm-hmm.
what the witness of these voices. And
Mm-hmm.
so I wanted to put, first of all, I wanted to bear witness, see your open heart. It reminds me that the truth can move mountains. That's what it felt like when he opened up his heart and really sang. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I was
Yeah.
like, your truth could move mountains. Like the truth and the power of your voice could, in fact, move mountains. But I
Yes.
also had this fantasy that if he sang this song for other people, then they might be more awake to those questions
Mm-hmm.
and they might like challenge themselves around those questions just because, and shoot, don't put a harmony on it now. Come on,
Right.
don't put a harmony on it. So I had originally written it as a duet and I wanted him to be the lead artist on it.
Oh
And I
wow.
recorded a demo of it a Friday, and he died on the following Tuesday in a car accident, driving from Nashville back home, you know? And,
Oh.
so in a way, I feel like I'll never fully be able to accomplish with that song, what I
Mm-hmm.
set out to accomplish. But,
Yeah.
but the song is in my charge
Yeah.
and I have to keep singing it because I'm serious about the questions. And I think more
Yeah.
of us could spend more time with those questions and like,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
if you really matter, you know, my
Yeah.
coach is actually the one who shared that phrase with me years ago. He was
Mm.
walking he was walking in his neighborhood and he met
Mm-hmm.
this woman who he really admired, and they were just doing their, like, morning thing, "Yeah, how you doing? Da 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 da." She's like, "You're working on a very, on an interesting question." She's like, because she had her own practice and she was very successful and all this kind of stuff. She's
Mm-hmm.
like, "I've been asking myself what I would do if I really mattered." Like, not
Wow.
if I mattered, but if I really mattered,
Really matter.
what would I be doing? You know? And that was with me for like a decade. And then
Really?
this song just showed up on the toilet one day, you know? So
Oh,
it's a mystical process, you
yeah.
know?
And that gives me something to think about for sure. That's a great question.
But, in doing this podcast, I think that's one of the things you should be doing. If you really
You think
matter,
so, Lily?
sharing these stories, I think is really
Yeah.
essential. And sharing your love for the people that you're presenting and that
Yes.
witness is so powerful. Like you could change my life just with your witness from today. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, and honestly, that was the goal because I wanted the world to see the dope people that I've crossed paths with and that I bonded with over the years, And your conversation was one of the first that popped out of my head, but I was like, I got to get a few episodes under my belt. I got to get more settled first before I get Lily on. And that was just me, I guess the vanity part or whatever. But that was my ultimate goal is to, if anything is being said in any of these episodes, is that it makes someone's life better or it gives them an aha moment. Or I didn't think of it that way. Let me do some research about that. So that's why I don't like to, you know, cut down the conversation. Just let the conversation flow. Cause I feel like when anything is organic, it touches people in ways that I couldn't have even fathomed. So that's why I'm like, just talk, just be Lily, and we just gonna talk. And most of the feedback that I get is that people, it seems like it's a phone conversation that they're just listening in on. And I'm like, you can't get more organic than that. So
Yeah.
say everything that you want to say, curse the whole nine. So, but
I've been
yeah,
trying by myself, but that's impossible.
and I have to, and I do curse on here sometimes, but sometimes I'm like, oh, because I don't want to be disrespectful to the guest or whatever, or if a child might watch it, but like sometimes I'm like, just let it hang out, just say like talk your shit. So right. So this next part of this episode, because we're coming on around the mountain, is a rapid fire.
Okay.
So I just say the phrase or a sentence, and then you tell me what it means to you or what comes to mind. Or you can also explain like, your thoughts behind it. Okay. You don't have to share it if you don't want to, but you share what you want about it. Okay. 3 words that define your sound right now.
Ooh, honest, tender, and brutal.
Ooh, honest, tender, and brutal. Ooh, you can be tender and brutal. I believe it. Okay.
I
Okay.
can.
Okay.
I
I
will flip on
believe
a dime on you. I will bring you
it.
into a cradle and then take you to the grave.
I know that's right. Okay. Okay. A song that feels like home to you.
Mm, a song that feels like home, home, home. You know, in my most formative years,
Mhm.
I was around a lot of classical music.
Okay.
So the stuff that feels like mine
Mhm.
is this turn of the century French composer named Gabriel Fauré,
Mhm.
his first string quartet.
Mm.
Rips me piano quartet, my bad.
Okay.
Opus
Okay.
15, C minor, if you're interested.
Okay.
Um, it stops time for me. Like it feels like
Right.
to this day, I'm like, I don't know where this came from. You know,
Mm.
uh, I don't, I, it stops time for me. It's four
Okay.
movements that will stop time for me.
Okay.
And
I
you
gotta go
just
check
can't
that out.
talk to me as long as it's on. I'm not.
Ooh. Okay. So I gotta go check that out. I really gotta check that. You done made some great references in this episode, so I gotta go back and check them out.
This one is my favorite recording, since you're gonna go check it out, is
Yes.
by the Beaux-Art Trio, and it's an old recording, it's from, like, the '80s or whatever, but
Really?
Beaux, Arts. Yes. The Beaux-Art Trio, and then they had a special guest on viola, I think, or maybe a second violin special guest. So
Okay.
anyway,
Okay.
that's
Okay. Okay.
it's you gonna love that third movement too. You gotta
Okay.
hit me up when you hear the third movement.
Oh, I will. I am. I promise you. I'm gonna check it out, and we're gonna have to talk about it.
If you want another very, very, very third movement,
Uh huh.
you gotta check out the slow movement of the Rachmaninoff Cello Sonata.
Okay.
But do the 4A first, and
Okay.
then find that Rachmaninoff Cello Sonata. I don't know if there is one particular moment that if they don't milk it right, I get mad. But that third movement, okay.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about it for sure once I check it out. An artist, past or present, you wish you could collaborate with.
Past or present that I wish I could collaborate with. I want to be on the road with Kev Mo and Bob Dylan.
Who's the first one you said? I'm sorry.
Kev Mo,
Cab Mo. I don't know of that artist. Okay. And you said Bob Dylan. Of course, Bob Dylan. Okay. 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 Any reason why you want to share?
my Kev Mo, because I feel like what he is a real one. Like they
Okay.
put him in the blues category, but I really appreciate his wholesome approach to
Yeah.
songwriting.
Mhm.
And he just knows how to make people feel good. And I
Mm.
want to bask in that for a while. Like,
Okay.
he
Yeah.
keeps it real, but
Okay.
something about his approach is just gentle enough that
Mm.
really, and I say these two because I'm curious about them. I definitely would love to collaborate with Tuck and Patty because they're still
Chuck and Pat.
geniuses, and but like Kev because we haven't actually crossed paths, but I've
Mhm.
just been admiring him from afar, and I just know that I could learn more about where my spirit is trying to go. My
Mhm.
spirit is trying to get lighter.
Okay.
And I think he could help me with that. And with
Mm.
Bob Dylan, it's because, uh, Nina used to love to sing his songs.
Okay.
And I feel like being regularly exposed to him as a person, uh, would put me in touch with the unapologetic side that I need to really allow to have a playground,
Mm.
because I don't know that he could apologize if he wanted to, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And I think that's also an essential part of my growth is to learn to be light and loving, but also deepen in like learning to release that apologetic thing. Just like,
Mm.
so what? So what if they want you to shut the hell up? So what
Hey,
if
anyway.
you
Yeah.
want they want you to behave a certain way or they want you to sing Plus, I think Bob, his career has been so broad. But I just
Mhm.
think he would get what I do, especially
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
I'm on the roots end of what I do. I think he would really,
Mhm.
really get it, you know,
So
what it's
basically
worth.
basically being on the road with him and learning from these cats. So I get what you're saying. I totally,
But my
totally get it.
spirit is still filling itself out,
Yeah. Yeah, of
and
course.
now I have a higher capacity to expand myself.
Mhm. I get it. I totally get it. So a lyric or melody that still gives you chills.
Well, I shared one today. That Suzanne Vega one does kind of mess me
Mhm.
up.
I gotta go find that one.
Um, from the first time I heard it, I was just like,
Music does me like that too, Lily. I be like, "Oh my god, what just happened? What just happened?"
that's
So I
why I love
feel
you. You're a true believer.
yeah, I do. I do. I do. I do.
But as far as lyrics, okay, so I just watched the Swamp Dogg documentary, which is astounding.
Swamp.
And in it, he does a cover of a John Prine song. And I just got the context for this from a writer friend of mine that
Mhm,
John Prine was a mailman at the time, and
mhm,
he wrote this song about a family that was just on his mail route.
mhm,
But the father in that family was a heroin addict. There's a line in that song. Now, I don't know that John Prine has any bad lines, but there's a
mhm.
line in that song where he says, "There's a hole in daddy's arm where all the money goes."
What? There's a hole in daddy's arm where all the money go.
This is what I love about folk
Woo!
music. You said you love folk music,
Yes.
that they can prepare you for that line and still drop a bomb on your head when it hits.
Mhm, mhm.
And man, Swamp Dogg covered the tune, and I keep forgetting the name of the tune. It's just the name of the guy, you know?
Okay, okay. I
And
got to
I'm
go check
mad that
that
I'm
out
gonna
too.
forget that name of the tune again. So you'll have to talk to me while I try to find the name of it. So
No, you're fine, but you said it's Swamp Dog is the name of the movie?
Swamp Dogg is the
Okay.
name of the artist that the
Oh, the
movie
artist
was covering,
is
and
about.
Swamp
Okay.
Dogg covered this John
Mhm.
Prine song,
Okay.
and then later
Got
in
you.
life, they did a duet with it. They actually sang it together.
Mm. Mhm.
But Swamp Dogg, like, he is a really fascinating character, another really brilliant writer. His real name is Jerry Williams.
Mhm.
Jerry Williams Jr., I think. The song is called Sam Stone. That's what it's called.
Sam Stone. Okay.
And Swamp Dogg sang it in 1972, and he hadn't met John Prine, but he was doing some work in Nashville, and he was like, and they they were in mutual space, and he's like, "You wrote that song. I want to meet you," you know. And then they
Mm.
ended up working together also. But yeah, I mean, it was a devastating song. Um,
Yeah,
another
that
lyric
lyric
that's
crazy.
what's
Wow.
that?
I said that lyric was crazy though.
Yeah, like,
Golly.
man, I'm so obsessed with good lyrics that
Me too.
I really even it's just the one that put me this week. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm always collecting like just lines that drop a bomb on me.
There's somebody I wanted to meet. Have you ever heard of this artist called Moses Sumney?
Yes,
I already know.
yes.
He is
He's one of the
amazing.
biggest geniuses on the planet right now.
He's amazing. He's amazing.
He's
And watching him create and his lyrics are like sometimes I have to wait, let me go to Apple and pull this lyric up because I'm like, did he wait, what does this mean? What? His lyrics always do me like that. I'm on the edge of my seat every time I hear him. But there was another song I want to tell you about and that I want to see if you know, A Case of You by Joni Mitchell.
Oh, yes. That was actually the first Joni Mitchell song I learned. Yeah.
Really?
Mm,
That song there is like it's like
just
what if I loved someone or I was infatuated or just crazy about someone, that's what it would sound like. To me,
now,
that's what it would sound
that
like.
is how I took that song as well.
Yeah.
And then I looked more carefully at it, and I was like, I can't tell if she actually likes this person. And then I
Yeah, yeah,
realized,
I get what you're saying, like the love-hate type of feel,
yeah,
and I could drink a case of you and still be on my feet.
yeah, right. She said, I'm a lonely painter. Live in a box of paints. I'm frightened by the devil and drawn to those ones who ain't
Who ain't
afraid.
who
And
ain't
I
afraid.
realized that, like, he's the one that ain't afraid. So she's drawn to this, and then I think I found out that she was actually maybe dating Dylan at the time.
Really?
Yeah. And then I was like, oh, that explains it,
Yeah, it might have
because
been him.
you
That
can,
that
he's so
unforgiving
drawn
fruit
into
you ain't
that
supposed to have.
charisma, you know,
Yeah, she's
and
drawn to him, but that's like something you ain't supposed to have, but you still wanna drink a whole case of
you want to drink a whole case.
Look, pour it on your
Not half a
head.
case. A whole case. Trying to 10 of you.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. So you're right. I never thought about that part because it's like you drinking a whole case. So this means yeah, that it's
No,
a little bit toxic, but
she is
she's
good and
drawn
drunk.
to it. Yeah,
She is
yeah.
good and drunk.
But I can still
You
stand
know,
up. See, I can still stand up.
yeah, look, give me some more,
Mm.
give me some more. You know,
So let me
let
see.
me see what was the line that made me wonder? She said,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, wait, just before I learned that long." So that's where she
Mm-hmm.
starts. She
Yep.
says, "I'm as constant as a you said, I'm as
As
constant
a
as a
northern.
northern star," and I
Mm-hmm.
said, "Constantly in the darkness, but where you at
Where's
at?
that at?
If you
Yep.
want me, I'll be at the bar." You
At the
know, like
bar,
so
baby.
in the darkness, where's that at?
Yep. Uh-huh. Yes.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, in the back of a
Yep.
cartoon poster, in the blue
Yep.
TV screen light, I drew from map of Canada. She wants to go home,
And then
but
she's like,
your face is sketched on it twice. But that whole right,
yeah.
but the whole like the whole "you're in my blood" like holy wine.
You taste so bitter and so
And so
sweet.
sweet.
I could drink,
It's
yes,
great.
Lord. That song is,
Taste
oh,
of
yeah.
you,
Ooh,
darling, and I would still be on my feet. I would still be on my.
yeah, 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 yeah. And
See,
see,
she
we don't
had
try to,
2 notes at a time in that song too. You notice that she don't do
yeah,
much.
no. And it's
Yeah,
very, very simple. But a lot like, but what I found out with her is she didn't follow, and me and Candy kind of talked about it in her episode. Like, people that are trained musicians play differently than a person that is self-taught.
yeah.
So the musical rules that a trained person is confined in, a person that's never been taught, that's like self-taught, they create music a different way. And I don't know much about her background as far as that, but I know she doesn't play traditional like chords. Like some of her stuff
She
sounds
doesn't play
so
traditional tuning. She doesn't play. Yeah, she
no.
doesn't
I'm
play
like, but
traditional
I love it.
anything.
It's out
Yeah,
of the box. That's what I
because
feel.
she had to go find it. Nothing
Yeah.
was spoon-fed, she had to go find it.
Had to
I'm
go
like,
for
I'm equal parts trained and
mhm.
not, because we
Okay.
could not afford lessons. And
Right, I got
so I
you.
would have lessons for a year and then not have lessons for 2 years, and that was back and
Mhm.
forth my whole life. It wasn't until I got to college where I had consistent lessons, and then even then I had to drop out of college because my dad died and I was grieving and I didn't understand that,
Mm.
and I again was facing all of my
Yeah.
drama, but
Yeah.
didn't know that that's what it was. I mean, so and so, so even then, it wasn't consistent. And then I was out
Mhm.
of that environment, off on my own in Boston, and everything. I had to find everything on my own. Never
Yeah.
had one single lesson about jazz or anything like that because all my teachers were racist and they didn't want to teach me
Mm.
about jazz. And then
Yeah.
my voice teacher didn't want me to be playing piano, and I was just like, well, I can't divorce the two. They
Yeah.
both belong to me for
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
reasons. And so, so I think for me, when I started writing my own songs, I made it a point, and even as a composer, I make it a point to try to ignore everything they
Mhm.
taught me. I just try to go with what my body wants. And I sing a lot of Joni, but I change, like I arrange them for my body. Like
Yes.
I sing Woodstock, but I do
Okay.
it in a triplet meter, like, which I
Mm.
got from Tuck and Patty actually, because like I heard their version and it had this whole other charge to it. And I was
Mhm.
just like, well, where does that charge live in my body? Because Woodstock is
Mhm.
another song that stops time for me. Like
Mhm.
Joni's
Mhm.
version stops
Okay.
time, but I sing it like a civil rights anthem, you know,
Mm.
like
Okay.
a Stardust, where like
Yeah. Yeah.
we're golden and we've got to
Yes.
get ourselves back to the garden.
Back to the garden. Yes, that's it.
Billion-year-old carbon, folks. Until we was fish, we was
Mhm.
billion-year-old carbon.
Yes.
Mateus is like, who's my ancestor? The carbon. Who are the angels? The carbon and the hydrogen and the oxygen that
Uh-huh.
made all this stuff come together. Like,
Yeah.
you're that's what if that's this universe You are made of glass. Like, that's what Joni reminds us, billion-year-old carbon, dog.
Yeah.
So, let's sing that one. You know I gotta sing River because Lord have mercy.
Oh, river. Have you heard CeeLo's River? CeeLo's
Yes,
River?
and actually, it was CeeLo's River that made me feel free to sing it because that's how
Mhm.
I heard River, but I didn't wanna muddy it. I didn't wanna, but
Yeah.
then CeeLo opened that song up. It killed me, so I had to put mine in the world, so
And I'm like, "It's Christmas? It's a sad song?" Like, I'm conflicted. It was just,
for years, it was the only Christmas song I would sing. I would
mhm.
wait until at
Yeah.
least maybe December 1st before I would bring it out and
Oh, okay.
and li like, they're like, "Sing Christmas songs." I'm like, "Sh."
Coming on Chris. Ah, 'cause I was like, 'cause when I heard Joni do it, I'm like, but now that chord that comes on when she come on Christmas, it's like now I associate that song with, I guess the loneliness that sometimes Christmas brings,
Yes.
yeah. So yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely that's his version is one of my favorites, but of course I love Joni's. Because I've even thought about myself, like, once I start, doing music like that again with the band or whatever, I want to take all these songs and kind of do them myself a little bit.
Yes.
So we'll see, because Joni's a happy space for me. California is another one of my favorites that she does, and Court and Sparks, of course, is another one of the songs I like, and then Taxi.
Mhm.
The Taxi is one. Yeah, I could go on and on and on, but I'm not gonna go into Tony. I'm sorry, not Tony, but Joni. We're not gonna go into Joni because I could stay there all day. I swear, I
Yes,
love
I
her so
know,
much.
I know. It's unbelievable. Her
It really,
catalog is
really.
unbelievable.
So, the last question of the night. When it's all said and done, what do you hope your music says about you?
I want my music like, my best case scenario is that my music ends up helping people find themselves.
Mhm.
And so I don't really spend a lot of time thinking about what I want my music to say about me, but I think I want the music to say, "I love you as you are, and I
Mm,
love humanity. I
mhm,
respect us. I
mhm,
want us to grow up. We all deserve to grow up and become, a loving, caring, simple society.
mhm,
This have majestic relationship with my wife. And there's this thing called secure attachment, which I think is the sexiest two words in the world now.
okay.
Um, and I imagine a world where we live in secure attachment. We
Mm,
walk around knowing that we're interdependent. We
mhm,
walk around knowing that the person that we're meeting is full of, first of all, is made of the same stuff we're made of. Like we're all
mhm,
billion-year-old carbon.
mhm,
And just we all walk around respecting that. It's very simple. Like
mhm,
our band logo, I mean slogan is practice radical decency.
mm,
And I say that as much as I possibly can
mhm,
because I think that's a path to this future where we can all sit down with one another and have conversations like this and just be
mhm.
mutually adoring and
Yes, yes.
just kindness,
Mhm,
simpleness, like slow down with all the just slow down. When we get hurt, we're gonna get hurt. It's just our nervous system, how it was
mhm,
built. But like it's okay, just slow down,
yeah,
tell somebody, just communicate. Learn, when it's time to do hushed tones versus when it's time to raise your voice. Just
right.
learn the music of being human together, you
Mhm,
know?
I agree.
Practice radical decency.
Practice radical decency. Well, y'all, we have come to the end of the road. Lily, I want to thank you for coming and playing in the sandbox with us. But before we get out of here, how can people connect with you via social media?
Uh, on social media, I'm the folk rock diva. Pretty much everywhere. Instagram. Now on Facebook, you gotta find me at Lilli Lewis Music,
Mhm.
unfortunately. But all the other places I'm the folk rock diva. I'm not out there that much because I'm enjoying getting back in touch with myself,
Yes.
these
Hmm.
days.
Hmm.
So, but I'm out there enough to say hey back if you tap me on the shoulder. So, you know.
Okay. And what projects that you care to share with us so that we can support that you might have coming up?
Well, the project that I'm most excited about that I have coming up, I'm not actually able to talk about yet.
Okay. Okay.
But it does involve entering like the virtual artist space, which
Okay.
is all I can really say about it, but it's very exciting.
Okay.
Um, and right now I'm just trying to give a little love to the Maroney tapes
Hmm.
for having me be a part of this really incredible series. I think like it's incredibly intimate and I think a perfect format, for what I do and where I'm at right now. And Noe Kunyi is the guy who's directing it and
Okay.
shooting it, and he shot my very favorite photo of
Okay.
a few years
Okay.
ago, and so I'm really just trying to support that. So, I would encourage folks to, you're already on YouTube, go check out the
Hmm.
Maroney tapes and
Yes.
see what other amazing New Orleans artists are going to be featured on there. There's
Oh.
so much
Okay.
incredible art here. I can't say
Okay.
enough about that.
And I love how he shot you.
Mm.
The way you just walked in and sat down and you just, and I could, once you hit that chord, I could tell you were in it. And I loved how it was like circling you with the camera, and it was very intimate, very, very intimate. It was really, really nice. Really, really nice, Lily. Again, thank you for coming and spending time with us. To our viewers, we want you to continue liking, sharing, commenting. If you come and watch, one of the episodes and something resonates with you, just tell somebody about it. Just share it. We love to hear from you because we want to make sure that we're giving you quality content and content that is resonating with everyone. We are on all social media platforms, all of your popular social media platforms. And we're also via audio on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Spotify. So you can check us out there if you want to listen to us in the car. I do have a few closing notes. As I said earlier, this particular conversation was based around Lilli Lewis and being in touch with what she brings to music. So, music has a way of saying the things we don't always have the language for. It carries memory, emotion, truth, and sometimes even healing. Tonight, we were reminded that behind every note, every lyric, every pause, there's a story. And through those 88 keys, Lilli Lewis has given us access to something deeper, something honest. Thank you for sharing your gift, your journey, and your truth with us. And to everyone listening, keep feeling, and most importantly, keep honoring your own story. This is the Painfully Honest Podcast. I'm your host, Calvin Payne. Keep living, keep loving, and keep making this world a better place. Peace.
Amen.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's painfully honest. Yeah. You know the vibes. Welcome to Painfully Honest. Yeah. You know the vibes. It's painfully honest. Welcome to Painfully Honest. gonna get you right. Yeah, you know the vibes. Gonna get you right. Yeah, you know the vibes. Gonna get you right. Yeah, you know the vibes. Gonna get you right. It's painfully honest, painfully honest. Welcome to Painfully Honest.